Good evening. This little ditty I like to call Kevin Spacey is a wrong'un. 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 Kevin Spacey is fucking wrong'un. He's over there being a wrong'un, hanging out with the prince, who's got hands like Cumberland sausages. Big dirty red-faced fucker with ears like rashers. Give him the hash so Kevin E. Moran and Johnny Sideways. Kevin Spacey, is he locked up? It's a good question, Johnny Sideways. Kevin Spacey, he should be getting his Spacey Kevin'd by some hard dudes in top hats. Hard dudes in top hats. Did you hear about Jimmy Corkill, man? God rest him. God rest him. He's walking Cracker the dog up in Spaceland. Spaceland. Did you hear about fucking Henry Kissinger, man? He fucking died. 100 years old, man. Had his whole life ahead of him. Did you hear about fucking Shane McGowan, man? He fucking checked out, God rest him. His tunes will live on deep. The sessions that man went on would turn your shit white. Spill a drop for El Pachamama. La Pachamama, should I say. Good evening and welcome to tonight's show. It's me, Maloney's Digest. I digest things such as food and then I turn them into fecal matter. And I don't want anything to do with that once it's flushed down the toilet. But I also digest content that I filter through my brain. Great to see you all. Trevor Brennan, like Dark Phase, Cool Dreams. Who we got in the house tonight? We got 10 people watching. Manda, hello. Kevin E. Moran, Johnny Sideways, Dark Phase, any hash, any hash, any hash, any hash, any hash. Is he locked up? Fucking should be the cunt. Isaac Whelan, welcome to the show. Skyboy, Skyboy, Barry Brennan, yup lads, yup Barry Bay, the double B. Getting his Spacey filled by Phil McCracken in prison. Stateside would look after Kevin. Oh, here, Kevin, I've seen all of your works and movies, hey. The Life of David Gale. That was a fucked up movie, hey. I never seen a film so fucked up. And I'm talking, I watched some fucked up stuff. Like Funny Games featuring Brad Pitt's brother. Not Brad Pitt's brother, Michael Pitt. Michael Pitt is a top actor. I'm also Calvin Spacey and the boys. Fucking Stevie Grant, lad. Evening from Waterford. I'm the Waterford boys. Did you hear fucking Duncan McGockiner? Duncan McGockiner. Oh, that's a fucking bad one, man. Duncan McGockiner. Up the gicker of life. We'll let the room fill in with well-wishers and lads and lasses having a night in. Can I tell you about my life? Man who drunk so many pints, so many fucking pints, so many gorgeous pints. IPA, Clonmel champagne, little bit of wine, little bit of laugh, little bit of joke, little bit of drink, little bit of smoke. Well, I was running down the road trying to loosen me load. I had a bag of Benson in me pocket. Gonna roll me up a 3 Skinner with a little bit of soap bar. Take it easy, roll up a 3 Skinner. You got the Bensons in your pocket, you're feeling crazy. Well, I was going up the town looking for some flange on a Tuesday night. None to be had, so I had some pints, went home and pulled myself asunder in the town, yeah, up the town, yeah. Don't like the sound of your fucking tractor, drive you crazy. And I got a nice baggie of sweets one night. We went down to Julian's. Went to a rave, took some Jimmy Corkills, came up like a fucking sky boy. Like a sky boy. Like a sky boy. Don't let the sound of your own midsies make you crazy. Sorry about that, got carried away. Barry Brennan says, just had a look at Jimmy Corkill's wiki. Addicted to ecstasy in 1994, dressed as the Gestapo in 1995. Didn't make him like they used to. Jimmy, I wouldn't mind watching a bit of, I need him, fucking head wreck, Jackie, give me, I'll rob a granny if I have to. Good old days, man. That's when Channel 4 was still a decent, how'd you get addicted to ecstasy? Even for the good time it offers people, they'll come down, cannot sustain, prolonged use of that stuff because you'll have no serotonin left in your fucking dome, like, do you know what I mean? Drive your cuckoo could shoe and you'll be on a well fucking down a buzz then for a while afterwards, Lord. Oh, the first Lutioner of the evening. Had myself the first touch of the loosener, made me feel so strong. Had myself the first touch of the loosener on a Friday night. It's a long weekend, it's been a pretty long week, and you just want to get yourself a nice creamy pie. Talking shit to the boys at the bar. Take a jump, we'll drive real far. We're going looking for the looseners on a Friday night. Blessed be the looseners that make you feel so strong. Blessed be the looseners, take a hit from the bomb. Some people don't like this way of life. They'll try to make you ashamed, feeling ain't right. But They can take it up the spacey on a Tuesday night for a I care. Because the Sligo boys party hard, and that's alright. I knew a lad, he took 14 shots in one night. He ended up talking to Danny DeVito through the TV screen. Danny, can you hear me, man? Renaissance man. Can you hear me, Danny? That was called Renaissance Man. So, the song reminds me of Pierce Brosnan's Wedding Man. Wedding Man. In all seriousness, I can't stop watching your original YouTube show and the show recently on Netflix. The atmosphere and community you showed is very unique. I miss it. I miss it too. I really do. It only works for the one night. You can bang another 10 and they'll do fuck all. Once the fucking serotonin horse is bolted, there ain't no chasing it back. Fucking Michael Jingo, hey. Oh, it's very jingoistic. Helen McEntee is a drag artiste, confirmed by Reuters. Jade Ellis, how you doing, Jade? Long time no see. Bonjour, as they say in the States. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Where's me snooze? I'm hooked on fucking nicotine. Why did I ever start? I couldn't really tell you. Nathaniel Higgerson. Eddie Durkin is the sound of sham the side of the river. Thank you very much. Billy Joel's The River of Dreams. A song that came out when I was 10. Quite like the ear of it. In the middle of a shite. There's a lot of words that you could throw in there. You know, my 10-year-old mind would... I was wanking in Memphis. I was wanking in Memphis. Let me see. That what's his name? Mark Cohen. He's always he's up there with the Rob Reiner, George Takei, and AIDS Clapton, who is a guy, Andrew Tetrich or something. They're always having a go at Trump and that. I'm gonna see if I can turn some songs into like crude versions of see if we can change the lyrics to make them a bit cruder. It's a lot of chords in that, but we'll fucking wing it anyway. Okay. Put on my blue suede condom, went shagging in the pouring rain. Some rough doll from the Delta Blues should have double bagged. I was wanking in Memphis, wanking with my feet 10 feet off the field. Wanking in Memphis. Come on, baby, give me just one feel. Saw Elvis on the job, yeah. Riding down on Union Avenue. Followed him up to the Brass House, the titty twisters. I don't know, it's a bit shite. Let me get some suggestions of you. Amanda, Missy's in the house too. How are you doing? Pretty girl in the hood of a Cadillac. Let's see what we've anything Lizzie. Bungalow doodle doo doodle doo doo. Doodle 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 doo. Doodle 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 doo. Doodle 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 doo. Tell me the legends of long ago. How the kings and queens would dance in the realms of the Black Rose. Black Rose in fucking show. Oh, you bastard, yeah. Roach in Dublin. Roshina Dove, I hear you calling all along the rolling river. Where the fuck? A rock legend. Okay. There's no chords for this, unfortunately, though. Let me see. Oh, Thin Lizzy. Put on my blue suede jocks. Doodly 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 doo. Doodly 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 doo. Doodly doo. Gary Moore was involved in that as well. I didn't know that. Okay, the lyrics. Doesn't show me the fucking. Doesn't show me the bloody chords. Bastards. I'll give that a go, man. I'll give that a go. £35, 72-hour delivery. Get an accurate music score. No. Just give me the fucking chords. Our bollocks to it. I'll just play it as is. Tell me the legends of long ago. How the kings and queens would dance in the realms of the Black Rose. Bring me the legends I want to know, so I could tell my children all. Tell me the story of young Cucullin, how his eyes were dark, his expression sullen, and how he fought and always won, and how they cried when he was falling. Oh, tell me the story, the queen of this land, and how her sons died by her own command. How easily fools obey command. Oh, tell me the legends of long ago. Well, you go, lassie, go. Your nose is running. I've had I had a cold throughout the week. Started last Friday and culminated in a big fucking migraine yesterday. So I just fucking schlepped it out, man. Feeling better today, hey. Oh. The henchman is in the house. Uncle Hench, will you jump in for some henchman's work? Andy Wallace and Dr. David, you fucking flaked on me, boys, and I will never forgive you for this. Never. Now is the time to redeem yourself, boys. The redemption song is nigh. No, the boys don't want to come on. Stream's too spicy for the boys, man. Oh, too spicy. The LinkedIn people will get you. LinkedIn. LinkedIn boys. Hard Schleim. Cousin Carmine. Hey, what up? Sees down Fifth Reaper. I remember, do you have SARS? H1N2 was recorded in London last week, man. Lock everything down before someone gets the sniffles. When you're on drugs, you never want to smell boff. Smell boff. Totally wrong. Hop on there, Gavigan. Montpellier Hill vibes. The crack we had there, man. You know, they were some of the best days of my life. Oh, yeah. Chrissy Hench. Oh, man.
What?
The very first down in 2000.
I'll close the other stream.
Let me see. I'm going to have to unplug this so I can get you on the mesosphere. Can you hear me?
What's the crack?
Can he hear you, Chris? Can he hear you, pal?
Can you hear me?
I'll just keep playing nostalgic tunes. I remember Chris Gavigan in the Gateway Hotel 2009. He was young, twinkly blue eyes, yeah. Said he was going to New York City. Oh, I gave him some advice. I told you it would last forever. He met Justin Massler.
Can you hear me?
I told him lots of stories about him. He met the fucker accidentally. Oh yeah. Back in the summer of 2009. Before the Mitzi Turbo Cup.
Is that before the Mitzi Turbo? Is it?
Complaining when you're working in the night shift. Down at the Gateway Hotel, yeah. That's when Gavigan got pissed. Gave out some very nice cheap drinks. He told me it would be free forever. Then James Mooney came along. He didn't even have soap in the dispensers. He was pretty tight with the fucking coin. Oh yeah. Put a dildo right up his ass. What's going on here with the sound, Christine?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hold on, one second.
If you go into, it doesn't say you're muted or anything. Pretty much just a fucking hangout session. Christine, lad, I can't hear you, but I believe you're in Toulouse. He's got nothing to lose. Redo a Blink-182 song.
Can you hear me now?
Don't blow your beans on me. You're already a dick inside my ass. I bummed you. that was a classic.
Can you hear me now?
Classic back in the day. What was the other one? A family of bean blowers, blow loading.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Late night, come home, Montpellier Hill.
Can you hear me?
Where we were pissed, getting drunk, having the crack with Danny Riley, henchman, Gavigan. He was the wingman, the crack being had, tapping ass, having fights, smoking loads of bowls, I cannot go. Turn the lights off. Montpelier Hill. Stateside, got a hot new woman. Fair wish I had his swag. Boy, that's said by Strongbow. Stateside, he's off the drink. Now he's in the gym in his garage. Na 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 na. Let me promote you in America. Promote away, man. Promote. You look like a man who's chilling out down Miami way. Chris, do you know what? Exit the room again, yeah, and re-enter.
The guys in the chat can hear me. Can you hear me, guys?
Because I think maybe it might be. Let me just put this headphone back in and see maybe if that is the problemo, and maybe it has been the problem all along. Well, I would have heard it from the chat bots. Can you hear Gavigan chat? Can you?
I think they hear me.
I hear you. I hear you now.
Ah, there he is.
Good old Sledge. Percy Sledge. When the hench loves a woman.
Oh, that's been a while. Dry spell.
Let's get over to Sweden and meet some hard-loving maniacs.
Why not?
Mark Mahallen's got a woman now, wouldn't she? He was extolling the virtue of how much money she makes per year. I hear a lot.
Do you want to hear the crack from last night?
What happened last night?
So himself and Andy went out on an absolute ripper, and Martin, Andy went back to Mark's Balubas, woke up to a big crash bang wallop, and Mark had fallen off his computer chair and fucking fallen on the ground. He had no fucking jocks or fucking trousers on.
Was he going for a bit of a wank and forgot Andy was asleep on the couch?
Possibly. Yeah. Nice.
He rang me today at about 2:30. He was still pissed.
Why would you even bother answering?
Well, I mean, he's a great man for just ringing me at like 3:30 in the morning on a weeknight. How the fuck am I supposed to deal with this?
Because Cousin Carmine is going to promote you. He's going to promote you.
Cousin Carmine's the inside man. We need to get Chris Perez in the mix as well.
Chris Perez is going to promote you too, is he?
He's going to promote me to all of North Andover.
Lovely. Are you going to just play music all night?
No.
Into some chats.
Can you rap over this, please, Chris? Just make up some stuff about Montpelier back in the day.
Yeah.
Go on. Whatever comes into your head. You ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Montpelier Hill. There was a lot of shit happening. Man was in the Citadel of Justice.
Citadel of Justice.
It was a bad time. He was screwing around, and he didn't even know what was going on. Fighting bouncers, that's where he was at. For lads. This isn't actually a rap, it's just like a little prolonged monologue. Oh, man.
I'll try one.
In Sweden?
Crack in Sweden, it's so boring. There's about a foot of snow outside. I'm wondering how the fuck I'm gonna make myself some dough before the Christmas. I canceled myself. Talking too candidly about shit in the world.
Well,
fuck them all, they're all a bunch of soft guns. Who wants to work in RTE? It's full of Lisa Richards merchants.
Anyway.
Irish TV, pretty shit, yeah. Nothing comes for free, yeah. Put my dick up the fucking asses, man or woman, doesn't fucking matter. Yes.
Yeah. On that note, that's another career down.
Fucking man. You know what? It's just like someone's just got to call out how shit it all is, Christopher. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think anyone really believes that RT is
Cares?
ever going to change anything. Just shite.
No. I was going to say to
Horrendous.
you, lovely lad, tell me this and tell me no more. How are you getting on down in the sud of Frankrike?
Not too bad actually, man. I drove from Bordeaux to Toulouse earlier on.
I drove all night. How long
It
did it
was
take?
about 2 hours.
You're a real internationalist, fair play to you. You know, you have to be here and there around
I'm an international
uh,
traveler
London to the
selling
Bay.
gates.
I sold gates to the Eskimos last night.
The
They don't
travelers
have
be
no fields.
travelers always be traveling.
Handball always going to be handball.
That's
Travelers
it.
always going to be travelers.
Yeah, so yeah, down here on my own this evening. To be honest, I was working all day, so I was absolutely knackered, and it just didn't even bother me arse going out
When
tonight.
you're heading back to the Emerald Isle.
Monday,
I see.
Monday, man. I'm man that can fucking do whatever he wants now. I'm not tied to any big tech corporation.
When you make a little trip up to Sweden, stay in the gaff.
But I get no work done. I'd just be dusting around the whole time.
We could get you a little DOS house. Vinny
Yeah,
could you could bunk in with Vinny, man. He's got a nice gaff too. He could crash there, and he's about 5 minutes. Well, he's about 10-minute bus ride from town.
lovely. I'm sure Vinny would be delighted that you offered to
All right, fucking
offer his house.
Vinny Thompson. Harry's
Uh,
probably fucking. I'll text him now and get Vinny on.
you, Vinny, I told Gavigan he could stay with you.
Yeah, we'll get him in, man. We'll get him in. Let me see. I'll get on to Vinny.
What's going on in the chat? Tell me what's going on, guys. Anyone saying anything spicy?
And
Dark Phase has a lot to say. How you doing, Jade? Jade doesn't miss a fucking trick.
she does not. Fair play to her. So I put the call out to Gavigan, Dr. David and Andy Wallace. They swerved it, man.
Dark Phase says everyone tells me to go to Dublin. Where else is good in Ireland? Everywhere else is good in Ireland. Dublin's a bit mental. It's good crack though, Dublin.
Yeah.
What was it like watching the scenes from afar last week, Martin?
Oh, which the crack in Dublin.
Yeah.
It was pretty mental, wasn't it? Like it was. I mean, there is in terms of riots, yeah, as in like I've seen a fair share of rioting going on in the States,
Yeah.
and like the London riots of 2010, I think it was. In terms of riots, they were tame enough. Like I think most of this mad shit does be going off in the suburbs of Dublin on a regular basis. I mean, I think there's probably the maddest thing I've seen since Lidl got the fucking roof ripped off it by a digger back in 2017, I think it was.
That was a good winter. That was it was March in 2017, I think.
Yeah, it was a good seasonal one, that was.
That was
in terms of as far as
East.
the Beast from the East, that was 2010. But as far as
it was the same
riots
same
go,
one.
it wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? It was bad, like, but I think the reason behind it is what caught like global attention was because it was like because of the incident that led up to it, and
I was in Dublin that night.
you were in Dublin that night.
Yeah, I was. I was in. I had some
Were
lovely food.
it was you who was helping to light the Lewis on fire, was it?
No, I'd got off the stop before.
I was orchestrating it from the top of fucking the ambassador.
It's like,
go down there, lads. Fuck that Lewis up, and there's a bus up there crying out for
diesel,
burning.
you thick cunts. You use a diesel. It won't light. Use the petrol. Use the petrol.
Put a load of crisp packets in a fucking box.
Well,
Light fire lighters.
Yeah, it was shocking though. Like, because I was in myself and Trace had some food in Mama Yo, and then we had a rake of lovely pints in Devitt's, and 5 minutes up the road, they're fucking locking down the city.
It's
Like,
funny because there
burning
was
things out.
someone down the road from Arnott's who was told to stay inside, so they had a nice lock in. Come up here, come in, good boy, come up here.
Some lovely lock-ins.
You like, come up here. Oh, this fucking mad dog earlier on, he was out barking like I don't understand what it was he was barking at, and he was looking up the sky. 1 second.
That's nothing
There
new
he is.
for
You
him.
can see his eyes.
Malish.
Malish. Fair play. You were there the day we got him, Gavigan.
Was there?
He's a
I
fucking
still was.
champion of 8 realms. Let me know more about his realmsmanship.
Yeah.
Fucking realmsmanship, man.
I tell you what though, like it's funny how you watch people change the narrative about what it was all about. Because like when you at the time it was clear
It was
and
about
obvious.
cute gay guys, man. There was a load of cute gay guys who were happy, and you know, like, you know, that was it. Just 8 cute gay guys came along, and they started going like, "This place needs redecorating."
Yeah,
that was how I read it. Anyway,
it was shocking enough though. It was upsetting. Like,
were you upset? Were you beside yourself having kittens?
Well, not about that. Obviously, about the children.
With the pants around your ankles.
Well, not right, not in relation. That's not what I was saying. It was
sometimes I was thinking, were they fucking? Was it one of these sending a couple of fucking paid
you
bad
would think
boys
that.
to?
You would think that.
Well, I mean, look. The thing is, look, you cannot rule anything out. That's what I.
You think you think that the Irish government have the coordination to do fucking something that intelligent?
Put it this way, they'd coordinate to do something they in terms of operating the sleazy way. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I had to make a G today. That kind of crack,
the
like
thickest cunts in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, it was for Dublin. It was fucking crazy, man. I mean, it was right there on O'Connell Bridge. That was like you can't get any more central than that. And there's a fucking double-decker bus. Yeah, I mean, why weren't the fire brigade down there sooner? Like, and the emergency services. I mean, like, how
because the fire brigade got the shit kicked out of them, like, you know.
I mean, like, that's what they're fucking paid to do, like, you know what I
mean? It's not really like to be honest, that you're talking about the most lawless part of the city.
Distant Mammoth said it's beyond the government. It comes from Belgium. Now they're all like, I think as Andy Wallace once said, they're all like fucking managers in a Burger King or a McDonald's. You know what I mean? It's like they get their orders from up on high, and the bunch of fucking the shag, man.
Ray Kroc is the one that's conducting the riots.
Like, to be fair, you know what I found? You can figure out what the demographic of culture involved when you see Foot Locker and Asics being raided.
Yeah, 100%.
But you know what? Look, you can kind of. I try and see it from all angles, because that's the best way of trying to understand anything. Is you try and look at it from everyone's perspective.
Yeah, and I had a big chat.
There were genuine grievances in there, and then there were opportunistic scallies coming in just to fucking, like, if I was 100%. That age and there was a riot where basically you could get away with fucking looting and robbing, and I was a teenager and all my mates were there, it'd be fucking mad crack. And you know yourself, you would have been in there yourself going, that's fucking class crack, man. You know, just basically fucking kids. Like Jobestown Little, you know, when you get swept up in mob mentality, you know, crazy shit happens.
But if your mother saw you come in the house with fucking, after looting Foot Locker and Asics, she'd soon fucking kick you out.
Well, you wouldn't tell her you had the Asics and stuff. Like, you gradually introduce it, and be like, oh, my mate gave it to me.
Yeah, it's like one pair at a time. It's like, how did you
Josie Payton gave them to me. Did you ever hear that story about David Rowley years ago in school? Apparently, he had a pair of Nike Air Max that he left on the bus, and Josie Payton was wearing a pair of dyed black Max 90s.
For context, this was Josie was old when I was young, very young. He was like,
is he still with us, Chris?
No, he kicked it about 10 years ago.
He's up there with Jimmy
He
Corkill, Shane McGowan, and
yeah,
Henry Kissinger.
he was hanging on to the handful of strands of hair in his head for a long, long time. So he was.
Tell me this.
He had an
Did
awful stammer.
you Did you read the Book of Love? Sorry. Did
Do
you?
you know what? Do you know what his Do you know what his nickname was in Boland's?
What
Was.
was?
Was. Yeah, he had to pronounce stammer. So
This is
everyone
an
called him
interesting
was.
touch. In the States, the difference between a riot and a peaceful protest is simply who controls the media. Would you agree with that, Chris?
Well, if you saw the buses burnt out and you say that's a peaceful protest, you wouldn't be saying that. It's not
No, but
really.
it was like, do you remember the BLM riots? That was like fiery, but mostly peaceful protests.
Yeah, but like
There's a whole apartment block in flames where
yeah,
people live.
you saw it like really pronounced when the protests for Palestine in London, and there was a few fucking obviously anti-Semitic lunatics kind of causing a bit of aggro, and that was all that came of the 800,000 people that were marching for Palestine. You know,
What was
so
this? Was there anti-Semitic marching going on in Dublin?
it was like, yeah, no, this was in London maybe 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
yeah. I mean, like,
But
basically, look, the
like
majority, I'd say 99% of people are
exactly
pissed off at the fact that for some reason
Palestine's
Israel always
being
gets the
carpet
free
bombed
pass.
there.
You know, don't
Yeah,
say anything wrong about Israel because, like, you know, they can do no wrong, even though, like, you have like the USS Liberty that they fucking tried to scuttle in 1967, or the dancing Israelis that just so happened to be arrested for documenting the event of 9/11.
yeah.
And you know, it's like they're our greatest ally. It's like, man, I think people have enough of this shit. You know what I mean? It's like, even like fucking Netanyahu is a war criminal, crazy fucking wanker of a
Oh, he's
man.
a madman.
You know, he
Absolutely
needs to be
fucking
thrown into
lunatic.
a dungeon of the spiciest leather gaze imaginable.
Man, like they're just cunts. Like
As
just
Steve said, the world is on its arse. Yeah, but the thing is, and I will say this, it's like, oh, don't say anything about Netanyahu and the boys.
but it's
It's
the
like,
same
fuck
thing
them,
that
man.
you can't say
They are
anything.
by definition. You know the way, like, you have like people who are like these unhinged fucking champagne socialists and fucking
Yeah,
just
they're
bedroom
idiots.
fatties that call everyone racist and fascist, that literally doesn't have their very blinkered fucking opinion, that
But like
doesn't like fit
what
but like these guys are genuinely fascists. I mean,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
their MO is all about shutting down conversation. I mightn't agree with some, or I agree with a lot of what you were saying, Steve. We all believe in different things. We see the world differently, and that's good as long as you listen to each other and you have a conversation and you're willing to learn. Like when you look at the these nonsensical arguments like that the likes of Piers Morgan is putting out. You're like, I
Piers
believe
Morgan, I
in
tell you,
you.
I've
You
never
know,
seen
he's a
anyone milk a
cunt.
conflict so much
This
as
is it's
Piers Morgan
shocking,
is.
isn't it?
He's like, but do you condemn Hamas? I mean, from what
Yeah,
I've seen, like, I'm not sure how true or not it is, but like last week there came out a girl, fucking 20-year-old girl's been you go and drive that tank there, and
yeah,
she was like, they have our civilians over there, and it's like, yeah, fire.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like the incompetency,
Oh,
and
it's
like,
shocking.
if you listen to what
I
Ryan Dawson was saying, it's quite interesting because he was saying that they relied on AI, and the Hamas guys were apparently doing their training exercises out in the
mm.
open, and the AI was like picked up nothing, and they were apparently writing all sorts of like gibberish
But
when they were.
this is why it's becoming harder and harder to find a credible source. You know, like
Yeah,
you can like even with AI, like if you ask that I saw one fella testing out Chat GPT about and he asked simple questions like does Palestine have a right to a free state? And ChatGPT dispute was like, no, cannot compute. And then it was like, does Israel have a right to a free state? And just gave a big documentation about. So it's like there is a certain amount of control even on stuff like that, this AI stuff, that there's levels of it, like, you know.
Look,
Does
here's the
that make
thing, right?
sense? Does,
Um,
does, what, does what I said actually make sense? I don't know.
say it's just repeat that again, just so I can get
Yeah,
a
so this fella this fella did a test. He did a live test on his live stream and basically went to Chat GPT and put in a simple phrase like, "Do the Palestinians have the right to a free state?" And Chat
oh yeah,
GPT
yeah.
basically flagged up that, oh, this does not compute, and put the exact same framing for Israel. And Israel, and basically what came up was like, every country has the right to a free state, and put a big long chat. You know the way Chat
Yeah, but
GPT
I remember
populates.
seeing one about Christ as well. You know, there was like they said something about Christianity that was, you know, but with other Abrahamic religions, they were there was again a whole. It was certain. There was something like it was like a derogatory loaded question towards Christianity,
Yeah.
and it didn't have a problem with that. But when it
Yes.
mentioned the other Abrahamic religions, it was woo, you know.
Yeah. 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 Freak out. Freak
Um,
out.
yeah, and like imagine if Christians, for example, like if Catholics behave the same way they did back in like the 1400s, where
Yeah.
basically they were burning people at the stake. I don't think people would be going around so blithely taking the piss out of Christianity. Um, whereas the other two Abrahamic religions do have sects with it, or like they have members of that community that, you know, woe betide anybody that speaks liberally in a way that would be blasphemous.
Yeah.
Um,
One thing's for sure though, AI is awful handy if you're trying to write boring TypeScript for a website. It's fucking all like, it took hours of fucking boring shit away from me this week. So, you know, little column A, little column B, be all right. You know, it might destroy your idea of a free society, but you know what? It'll take away a couple hours of mindless boredom. So, you know, whatever
mm.
you want.
You're a good old skin, Gavigan. And myself do have good old chats.
Yeah, and the thing is, like with all of these things, like if you were watching, like Steve was so out of joint about the riots that were going on in Dublin because
Who?
he
Stephen
was
Kelly?
yeah, because he was watching it in real time from social media, and if he saw that, it was like almost like fucking destruction was happening in the moment,
It was like the
and
destruction derby was happening.
yeah,
I see.
but
I seen he
where
was getting some beef on Instagram. There were people. You know, I don't understand what it is about Ireland. Right, Ireland seems to have like a schism of opinion at the moment. Right, so
mm,
you've got anybody that criticizes the negative aspects of mass immigration,
yeah,
anybody who does it in a sensible, like, this is unsustainable, this is eroding the fabric of a very small tiny island nation,
yeah,
and it's enriching the mercantile class that own hotels and businesses at a
mm,
time where there is a massive demand for residential property, but at the same
yeah.
time it's becoming ever more unaffordable. And rather than, basically, this is how fucking outrageous it is. And I'm
But,
saying this from a purely observational point of view. And this isn't far
but
right
also
or any of that shit. It's from a
no, but like.
neutral standpoint.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really complex because at the end of the day, we both agree on the one thing that these things have to be treated, you know, carefully. And Ireland clearly hasn't been treating immigration carefully. They're just going with what the demands from Europe are. But like where myself and Stephen differ was he's scared about, like, you know, he's almost being fear mongered into certain things like we should always put a stop to it, stop to border, and that there's no border checks. They're just loosely enforced, and they're underserviced by the government. The government don't put money into policing, they don't put money into housing. So what they do is they basically are just about firefighting one small problem at a time. And by distracting you with one crisis and jumping from one crisis to another, because a couple of years ago it was healthcare. Healthcare is no better than it was a couple of years ago, but we don't think about a healthcare crisis at the moment because we're thinking about housing. oh no, the housing crisis, that's not fixed, but don't worry about that. We'll go to policing. Now there's not enough police there. So we're constantly taking our focus away from one thing, which is a change in government
What are they
or
doing with
effective government.
taxpayers' money in Ireland, Chris? Because on paper, the GDP looks like we should be one of the wealthiest nations in Europe
Yeah, but
per
like
capita
the GDP is basically
on
what
paper.
Ireland does differently in GDP terms is they take the company's income wealth and add it to our GDP. Our effective GDP, which is what taxpayer returns is, because it's loaded on the middle class. Like we get very little from capital gains, really, if you take into effective loopholes that these big tech companies go through. So
Mm.
we're actually mid ranked. We're average when it
Yeah, I
comes
mean,
to
for an island of its size, it's like
which would make a lot of sense. But
yeah,
like what the government would want you to believe, which gives them more borrowing power, is that we're one of the wealthiest nations on earth, which we're not, which we can see because even though, and the other thing is that they had a surplus of money this year, but their goal was to recruit 1,000 guards, and they're going to miss that by 20%. So by missing that
but
by
you can
20%,
understand why guards don't want to work in the force anymore.
shit
They
pay.
get shit pay, and they're I mean, and crime seems to be getting more and more
And, and and
outlandish.
and to be honest, like, and like obviously a lot in the chat might know that I lived in Dublin for a lot of years. And if you're from some shithole like Sheriff Street, and sorry for everyone from Sheriff Street, but it's not known as the nicest place in the world.
Hey,
But if
that's
you
where Luke Kelly came from.
Yeah, for sure is. But if you're looking around and you all you're seeing is this place looks more like New York now than what you grew up with. Where
Mm.
all this wealth is being invested into these big glossy buildings, and you're down by the docklands and apartments and high rises, but yet your street is still the same as it was. Like people aren't any richer, people are in your locality are doing more crime than ever, and no one's got a job on that street. You look around and go, well, where is this really going? And then
Yeah.
what they start doing is divide and conquer by going, well, there's some definitely nefarious forces in Ireland going, well, it's the immigrant next door, because they're all the immigrants are living in those communities, same
Mm.
way they are in Swinford. They're living next door to you, and they're like, look at that guy. He's the problem, but he's not really. It's the fucking
Uh,
bankers
you know what?
and the government.
I reckon, Chris. Yeah, I reckon there's first of all, I suppose in regards to, I think the grievances of, let's say, those who are upset with the way things are. If you go back to like the 2008 crash, the fact that
Mm,
Ireland hemorrhaged 2/3 of its young population at the time, right?
yeah,
And I think the fact that there are people beyond in Australia, Canada, that would love nothing more than to be at home, but the opportunities for them don't exist at home. And
yeah. But
on
they do
top of
and
that,
they
then
don't. Like they like. I work in recruit. I was trying to explain this to Steve. I work in recruitment, and people don't apply for jobs anymore because everyone has a job. So
mm,
that means that there are opportunities. If you were going back to Dublin, yeah, there's major problems in Dublin, but and across the country with housing. But like that's a government issue that could be overcome if they put enough money into housing, into actually building. Like there was back in the 1950s, we used to build housing on a scale that hasn't been seen since. But how can we do that in a post-war Ireland with
mm.
no money, and we can't fucking get together when
Like,
we're
I
one of
don't
the
know what's
richest
going on, Chris.
countries in the
Like,
world? It's
the
nonsense.
thing is, like, here's the thing. I think Europe, in my honest opinion, of looking at this over the past few years, right? And this is again, like, I take flack from people who would call themselves right wing. I take flack
Mm,
from people who call themselves left wing. I don't think there's like I think it's basically that though the old right wing and the old left wing aren't what they used to be anymore. I think it's
no,
basically the
there's a massive
middle
chasm
class
in
is
between now. Like,
yeah, and I think those differences are being exploited to, like you said, deflect culpability from those in charge.
100%.
So I think that basically, why? why is it that people are fleeing to Europe in such numbers? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Well, a lot.
opportunity, right? And
Yeah.
these countries
That
themselves,
and some destabilization by America mostly.
relax, Manish.
Call a spade a spade.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's bad. It's the rules-based order, as
Yeah.
in, we're going to foment discord in your country, unrest, and eventually fund opposition parties to violently remove elected officials in your country, and we're going to extrapolate your resources for our own personal profit for companies within the country, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of these countries, Syria, um, like Libya,
Yeah.
Iraq,
Just
like,
they're almost a plaything for the big boys.
well, because they're
Like
too small to really like make it. Like, look at Iraq. Yeah, you
yeah,
basically had the First World War with Schwarzkopf. Like, Iraq is a little bit bigger than Ireland.
yeah. Well,
It's like,
like
okay, let me show you. Let me
in the
show you this.
grand scheme of things, compared to China or India, we're essentially the same.
Okay, let me have a little look. Um,
Like that makes the news in America that there is a bit of a fucking hoopla in Dublin. Like, imagine all the shit that kicks off over in fucking India with 1.5 billion people that is never reported on.
okay, let me just show you this, right? Because this will I know if they have the whole island of Ireland. No option. So we just have fucking Ireland. Then you're gonna have to. Oh, sorry about the 6 counties being gone. Um, Iraq. Yeah, let's just because this really does sum up the everything in its entirety. Right, Sweden. Okay, not Sweden. Ireland. Ireland.
But I remember, I don't know if you remember your man Will
Right.
O'Meara. He was what you call it, mate. Um, the lads from he owns Bingo Loco.
Oh,
He,
Mark Soler and the boys.
yeah, Marcus Soler and the boys. Will did and his mate Craig, who owned they had yeah, size
So,
wise.
right. Okay, so that's Iraq. Iraq. I'd say a fair bit of it is desert. Yeah,
Mm,
but you compare. Okay, you go. So there's England and Ireland. Yeah, and then let's change that and go to USA.
yeah, I know. It's shit.
Right.
Nothing. So the United States.
United States. Okay. Wait till you see this. Now look at this, right? Not only was it the United States, it was
Yeah,
England and so basically 1991 you had a nation the size of basically Texas, right?
yeah,
Smaller than Texas,
yeah.
an entire fucking nation armed to the teeth because at that time they were like
They were
the
on the right side of it.
ultimate.
They were in Iran, yeah, and like the
But you
Iran
think of it,
Iraq war and stuff. It's
size
crazy,
of
isn't
that,
it?
yeah. That's how that country that size went and went to war with basically over the fact that the Bush administration didn't like the fact that Saddam Hussein was pissed off that Kuwait had undersold, basically, and USA had propped up under Rumsfeld and the boys had propped up
Mm,
Iraq as an attack dog against Iran in the 80s.
yeah. Ah, look, like that.
But it couldn't
That's
be controlled, and a lot of people died.
yeah. Like when you think back to them days, like you think people think back to them days as the glory days when people had free speech and stuff. And they didn't really either, you know.
Yeah.
They're like it's all a
But
myth.
free speech is a very important part of
Yeah,
a democratic society. Like, there are things that really fucking thoroughly annoy me, but if you say something that you If someone has the free speech to say something, then it can be refuted in the marketplace of free ideas. And if the speech is fucking bullshit, like the first sign of that you're losing a debate or is to be not doing it. Anytime someone shuts you down on a discussion, you've effectively won the debate.
Yeah, yeah,
When people are like, no, don't want to hear it, you've won
yeah,
the argument.
yeah. And at the end of the day, like I was looking at some of the comments that came through onto the Dead Hedgehogs feed. Some people vehemently, like, really disagree with some of my conversations with um with Cowboy during the week, and fine. I don't give a shit.
I was going to get
That's
onto that
okay.
earlier on, Chris, about Ireland and there's like there seems to be either get them all out or you're a racist.
Yeah,
It's what there's not. It was like the
Um,
fucking reveal the eighth thing as well. It was like
but again,
full on abortion or no abortion. It was no like what's in the middle. Where's the
yeah.
compromise?
I
And there's no
think
nuance.
I think the thing is, the problem with all of this is we measure this by the what's trending online or trending on Twitter. We give too much credence to that shit. In reality, like, we're just having a chat that we'd have in a pub, and we're just two normal lads.
And
And
the thing is, Chris, what I've
there's
noticed,
a
people
common
who
ground.
will jump down your throat from the safety of the internet are the
Yeah,
kind of people you can have a civilized discussion with in a
and they
pub,
and they
and you
the
will come
one
to an agreement. But to
yeah.
express yourself in 186 characters, and then the reply, please, please. He was literally barking at the moon earlier on when I was out with him. And I
Yeah,
was like, what's he
he's
barking
quite.
at? And I looked up and the moon was like, in and out of the clouds. He was like,
Maybe he's a libtard and he doesn't like what he hears.
maybe he's a moon maiden. Come up here to me. Come up, please come up here to me. See, I'm cooking some food for him and he can smell, he knows there's a bit of grub on the horizon.
He gets cooked food now. Fucking hell.
Well, we just started cooking him pollock, rice, and veg, and it's because he can't eat the dry food because he gets the shits, and we tried him on all different. Plus, I think it's better for him to like the ex shouldn't know this, but he's been eating lasagna and spaghetti bolognese during the week as well, and
She'll never
he ended
hear.
up having human looking shites. He's doing fine.
Yeah, but we always knew that he was half Italian. So
What's the dog's name? Mollusk. No, it's Malish. Malish, come Malish.
Molly
Malish.
man,
Oh, Malish, Malish.
the
He's
Russian
a good
peasant
boy.
dog.
He's a fucking strong creature. There's so we got these kind of like furry cushions, and when you move on them and then you touch someone or the dog, you get an electric shock. It's got a shock
Yeah.
off them. Shocking stuff. But I was it's okay, Maloney. We can't hear the pup. No, I bloody hear him though. We call them seasons weepings. 'Tis the season to be weeping. Weep, 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 weep. We weep, weep, weep. But no, about that, the whole immigration thing. Like, for some reason, you can't. It's a very, very taboo subject. But it's like,
It is, and the thing is, it's complex.
but I don't know why. It's like we went all over the world, but it's basically my thing is. Can I just let me say something for a second, Chris,
Yeah,
please?
okay, go
Here
for
in
it.
Sweden, right? If you're on the bones of your ass, you won't get a penny. But
Yeah.
some people
Is
do.
that
If
right?
you know what I'm saying? And I think it's kind of like I think that the international community should focus on bringing up the developing world or the war-torn regions to a self-sufficient, sustainable place where human rights and democracy and reason is, it's our obligation to fix our own fucking places first, and then those places. But I think there are those people who just want to watch the world burn, or they're driven by their own greed and material. Like,
and
look at
maybe
Kissinger,
humanity
100 years that lad lived.
Yeah, but maybe humanity is not capable of actually
No,
doing
it's
it.
not. It's not.
And
Like, if you look at
is like the people that are coming to most, like 99%, just want an easier life, just want a quiet life,
but I think
like
It's
Like what?
basically it's when did the scales tip? You know what I mean? And it's kind
Well,
of
I'll tell you what I
it,
said
it,
to
it,
Steve. I'll tell you what I said to Steve. Is like, you think that if like I because the problem is with Ireland is that there's 30,000 in Boston that are undocumented alone. So should all
yeah.
them just be fucked off out of there and sent home to Ireland,
I
and
mean,
some
look,
of
to
them
be
to a
fair,
place like,
but you know what the thing is regarding that, yeah. If they, if you go in and you're going into a place like the States and you're doing it, it's kind of like I got caught on the train the other night without a ticket, 150 fucking quid, and I was like, what are the odds of me getting caught? The
yeah.
odds weren't in my favor. Um,
But
it's basically
and
like if you go in and you're kind of like you're going into a country and you plan on being staying there illegally. I met a lot of people who did that.
we
But
know
the
people that
fact of
we
the
know
matter
those
is, if you're
people.
doing it illegally, you're doing it illegally. You know what I mean? It's kind of that's part of the. I mean,
Yeah,
you
but
can have
like
a
but
lifestyle up over
what
there and
I'm
everything.
saying is that it basically there's this attitude in Ireland, and right or wrong, and you might agree with me or not, that it's okay because these Irish, they contribute to society. Well, because they shouldn't get a free pass to flout the rules like anyone coming into this country illegally.
Yeah, I
And
mean, like, look, if
and
I was to go to the
there's a
States,
lot of
I'd make sure it was
hypocrites.
done legally. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't
Yeah,
like because
both should be done legally,
yeah,
but they're not. And but there's Ash. Look, his cousin did it, and I look, it's America. So we built the country. That attitude in Ireland when it comes to our history with illegal immigration and the contribution to America is huge from Ireland. I'm not denying any of that, but I'm just saying you can't take that attitude when it's your cousin that went to Boston, and then go, oh, but the migrant that came from Syria is a problem. That when he comes to Ireland, it's just
yeah.
like,
But look, the thing is, again, everyone needs to be judged on a proper case by case.
yeah,
And look, Ireland had enough fucking scrotes in it.
100%.
You know,
There's a
uh,
the,
and
the
we know a lot of them.
biggest problem in Ireland is not immigration. It's the
The
fucking lazy
Irish.
cunts that, yeah. It's not even that. We've been out and I've 3 times I've been walking down the street on O'Connell Street or Camden Street. Once I had a fucking standing knife put up to my throat when I was at an ATM. This shit isn't new, and it's from a particular proportion of the population. The proportion of the population that are dealing with most of the immigrants that are come to Ireland, because they're not going to Foxrock, they're not going to Castleknock, they're not going to nice cozy mansions on the south side. They're
Well, this is the
going
thing.
to
Most of these, as I call
Ballymun
them, fucking
and Blanchardstown.
champagne socialists, are the
Yeah, so
ones who are like you see them on the internet, like or you see them on Twitter, and they're like, "Oh, the far right" and all this kind of thing, and it's like, well, what have you done to house people or contribute to easing the?
or even have the discussion.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
this is a problem, and what I'm saying is that I'm on the. I don't know what you would do about it. I've thought about this so much, but one thing I
Because
do
there are
know
people
is
who've lived here for years, and they work and they have families here, and they're integrated into
100%.
I look like I live among like Stockholm is one of the most
Yeah,
diverse places. It's like a mini New York, and for most part
but
it's
and
fine. But
Dublin's not
there
the same.
it is starting to get serious problems over here. I
Yeah,
mean, it's like because, like I've said, there is you know by nature of the type of society it is. It's all like inner circles, and if you're not if you've got big aspirations but you can't you feel like I mean because they say it's all very tolerant, oh yes, welcome everybody, but pretty
yeah,
fucking when it comes to behind the scenes, pretty fucking racist, I'd say. Not I mean, this isn't like a
Ireland's the
um
same. The big
yeah,
cave meal of
as in
Ulster.
there are people who will say publicly, "Oh, yeah," like the video that the start that was over here, where they were like, "Oh, would you have a refugee live with you?" And they're like, "Yes, definitely." And what, we'll watch this
Yeah,
just to see the and someone did it in England, and it's basically if you're not prepared to fucking put your money where your mouth is, then you
yeah.
shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Again. It's all it's shown is daft hypocrisy. You can believe one thing and not want it to enter your own home as well. Like because you believe that you have the right to cycle around the city doesn't mean that you want fucking cycle lanes everywhere. You know,
Mm.
like like a lot of that gotcha reporting, which is fucking rife. Like, oh well, you're a hypocrite. Then they're basically trying to quote. These people are just they have a fucking vague idea of what they believe. They're not even worth listening to. So they're
No.
going around with a placard of what is essentially a utopian idea, which is, in fairness, you're just after describing about um, developing countries not fighting with each other. That's just a utopian idea. It's never going to happen because proxy wars are being inflamed by Saudi Arabia, Iran, Russia, America, and that all that stuff is very powerful.
Like the thing is, right? This last, like, we all come from the one world, yeah. We all come from this planet, and most people just want to get on with their lives, live in peace, right? Um, but I also think like, I like as much. I think a certain amount of like
Mm,
immigration, but it's like this is what's been foisted upon Europe is it's an industry that
yeah,
is enriching. Like, for example, Healy Ray was being chased down the street I seen by some pissed off Dublin people, right?
yeah.
Uh,
That was a
Healy
couple
Ray
weeks
apparently
ago.
applied for planning permission to open up a hotel.
Mm,
It's not like the thing is, it like they don't care about their own people. They sure as fuck don't care about people coming from the developing world. They don't care about them. They're being
100%.
used as a cash cow
Yeah,
at the taxpayers' expense, right? And if you say that, people will jump down your throat over it. But like they're being used and milked as a money make. They did it here in Sweden, and they had to put the fucking brakes on it because you had hotels at quarter to third occupancy off season. Businessmen were coming from Stockholm or Gothenburg saying, "We'll buy that hotel, give you a very generous
yeah,
offer, turn them all into direct provisions," or
yeah. And
because they're
director
getting
and
300 quid a day per person.
yeah,
So
and
like
who's the person? What? How much is the person in direct provision getting?
nothing. They're getting fuck
15,
all, man. They're
18,
sitting
and
there,
they're
probably
sitting
getting the
around.
worst of food,
Yeah,
like literally
same in
just
Ireland. Same
yeah.
in Ireland.
Well, it
And
depends on where it
and,
is. I mean, but
like,
like they're getting,
but like
I'm sure they're cutting back on it for that.
one thing I know for sure is that people in direct provision are like basically getting just these sloppy old stews, and then getting a meal and getting 15 quid or 17 quid a week, and then how are you? So you've come from whatever type of
Like,
poverty
could
or
you imagine how
shithole.
boring that would be, man? You're
Well, yeah,
basically getting a pittance at the end of the week. You're living in a hotel room, and
and you're not
you've
stimulated to
yeah,
do
and yeah,
anything.
I mean, like, but it doesn't. There's no assimilation, and that's the thing here in Stockholm as well. It's like
I,
I'm sure in the 80s and the 90s, but it's
I
just like, man, like they just after the uh the Syrian war, that time the child was dead on the beach and everyone opened up,
yeah,
people were coming from all over, and it was just like there is an element of crime that has also been
in,
introduced, because when you think about it, people are coming from harrowing
yeah,
scenes and they've become desensitized. It's a totally different culture. Like,
yes,
could you imagine if you come from a place like Afghanistan where women were covered in burqas,
yeah,
and then you come to a place like like Berlin where it's like sex clubs, and to certain people they might just think, okay, we can do whatever we want here, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Because and it's just basically like, they maybe that they don't understand the difference in culture,
and
and
this is why these conversations are so illuminating, because you don't think of stuff like that sometimes, and if it was,
like,
it
I've
can't
worked with
be a thing.
Afghanis, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? I've worked with Afghanis, and I remember like one of the lads who was working in the kitchen. He would say to the girls who work in it, "Very nice, very sexy, very nice." And sometimes he was just he'd be on the phone, he'd be like, "Very sexy, very sexy." And it's like,
Yeah,
because there is a clash of cultures,
yeah,
and it's like all I'm doing is just highlighting that. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. All I'm doing is I'm saying there
but
is a huge difference in many of these cultures, and that's it. It's an observation. And for anyone to say any different, you're putting dildos up your own arse.
what you
You know
got?
what I
Graham
mean?
Russell going, ask Gav to say sloppy again.
Fucking Graham Russell, lad. Top of the
Graham
evening to you,
Russell.
Gray, lad, man. I mean, look,
Yeah,
it's a serious conversation, but I can understand why people get frustrated if you're not allowed to have these chats. You know,
yeah,
and
and
this theatre of
100%.
chat is basically lads in the pub having a chat. Like I say, I have a lot of friends from a very fucking diverse background of people, and I treat
Yeah,
people case by case. I've got friends from all different faiths, different ethnicities. I get on grand with
you
everyone.
shouldn't even have to say that. You
We
like I
have
said,
to because in
I
case
know,
someone
yeah,
takes this out of context and tries to paint me
yeah,
out to be some sort of fucking marmar man, bad man. But you
but
know
like
what?
the
Whoever does that, I will bend you over and I will prise your cheeks open and elbow your ass.
yeah, that's not just a promise. That's a pleasurable promise. Um, yeah,
Take a
like
dump on their
at the end of the
chest.
day, it's just a conversation, and like we're just two fucking
It's
ego.
the kind of conversation you rarely
Idiots.
see on mainstream media, and it's like everything's so bloody touchy. Um,
Well,
had I have been in the same situation, and I'd made my way to, like, I have a very like a extended member of the family who we know very well, made his way from Syria
hmm
after the conflict into Europe, and
yeah,
still has fucking nightmares about that. Lovely lad,
of
absolutely
course,
lovely lad who's like very close to us. And
yeah,
when
yeah,
you hear his stories about how he got to Sweden in 2015, it's mind blowing because
mm,
he was escaping war. That that war was started not just because of Assad. Like, Assad had some bad fuckers working for him, known as the Al Shabaab Brigade, who
yeah,
basically could conduct themselves anyway. I saw a video there on Twitter recently of men being lined up a pit, like by some building site of a building that was the foundations of a building that was to be built, fucking hands behind the back, blindfold, a pit of people kicking people off, and as they were falling, boom, bullet to the back, a pit full of fucking men
yeah,
killed. There was no doubt heinous shit was happening. At the same time, there were a lot of people that were being paid by Western intelligence to start like conflict, and
Well, it goes back
I
to
don't know, like,
what
and that's from both sides. They were the opposition, the rebellion in Syria at the time had their reasons because they feared the control of Syria. And I remember talking to a guy called Jamal from Syria years ago, who said that basically what Assad did was, instead of, like, his father apparently went into like Lebanon or something in the 70s or the 80s, and he fucking crushed everyone, and then he
mm,
wept about it, about how he didn't want to do this or something. Whereas Assad apparently had people writing fucking bellicose poems of how well he treated it, and which enraged the people even more. And then you had the vacuum where extremists like ISIS and Al Nusra came in, and then fucking who was funding them? Saudi Arabia, Qatar,
mm,
USA, Israel. Because it's all about destabilizing all of those Middle Eastern countries.
yeah, so they could
So
profit.
yeah, and then basically you've got people who are like, "Fuck this! I'm getting out of here. And when I go somewhere, I'm bringing my family with me." I
Yeah,
totally understand that,
I
but
understand that, and I have the utmost sympathy for anyone that wants to get out, and that's why I don't jump to these conclusions. Like, yeah, Ireland has taken in more immigration than ever before. The
but
problem
the thing,
isn't
see,
with
what worries me about Ireland is it's just like it's a small country,
yeah,
and
but
we're
like
not
but like
having, it's basically, I kind of like, what I like about Ireland is the fact that's where Irish people come from, and it's like,
what well like what I'm
it just
what
becomes homogenized, and it's just like in a few years, it's just the erosion of culture. It's like,
well Ireland has a very deep connection with their culture, and that I wouldn't be worried about, because at the end of the day we have we have to look at we're always going to be looking at our own history with colonialism. We have a very strong Irish connection with the past. We have a very clear identity with our own history. Why? And yeah, immigration is going to create problems. The problem, our biggest problem, is the infrastructure and the failure of government that has produced the problems
Yeah, but man, the
of
government as well,
integration.
they're just fucking useless. Like, do you know what I mean? And they
Yeah,
have
no,
been
of
for a
course,
long
and
time.
hundred
I mean,
percent.
you know,
And if you've got the
they had an
same
opportunity there.
government for 100 years, of course it's going to be useless.
Yeah.
There's no new ideas. So Ireland's a different country to I was years ago, and like when you hear some of the videos, there's videos there like I'll see if I can find them out, but like these telegram messages that were going out the night of there's some pretty nasty fuckers out there. They were these
What was going on?
these telegram messages of these Dublin, they clearly fucking fascist lunatics, telling people like these groups of Irish patriot groups on Telegram, and these voice notes going into these groups saying, "Tonight's our night. We take our country back. We're at war, and if you see an immigrant, kill him. Tonight's the night
Jeez.
we show the government we're not going to take this anymore."
Yeah, I mean, but
And
why
it's
take it
inciting
out on fucking, like,
immigrants. Yeah.
yeah, but look, the thing is, you're dealing with low information carry on there. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Or
like,
I don't. I think the
I'm not,
ones that are carrying out the action, like they're being told to tool up and get into town as quickly as possible. They're not the ones that are tooling up. They're the low information because they can't disseminate from what is nefarious, and let's call it out fascist right wingers. That's what they
mm,
are. Those nefarious fucking anti-immigrant brigade, and not everyone's right wing, obviously. Not everyone's fucking, like you could throw a trope around, but
yeah,
there is
but
a
there's like
rising
there's two
fascist group.
equally, like, there's two different factions out there, right?
Yeah,
That you
it's-
see on Twitter. There are like right wing and left wing, and they're
yeah.
like
They're like
both of them are fucking off the
they're so
mark.
far apart. They're almost fucking coming together. They're
The
almost the same.
horseshoe effect.
Yeah, it's insane. I look at it and like I actually like from day to day. I come into very little contact with anyone that's any to do with either of those groups. They're just not there. They are massive online. It's like an empty kettle being fucking twice as loud as something that's full. So it's crazy at the moment, and
Well,
at
it's
the
just,
moment.
it's like you wouldn't mind as much if the country was, if people were being looked after, but they're not. Like, there's no fucking excuse why subpar property is so expensive in Dublin.
But there's a reason though.
Yeah,
When
because the same
majority,
fucking greedy landlord class are fucking taking advantage of squeezing people. Like, I mean,
yeah,
like, and that is,
the
man, that by
landlord
definition
class,
is a huge disparity, or as a disparity between working class people who are stuck in fucking dead end jobs paying the rent, while you
yeah,
have people who are like living in the fucking Algarve half the year making money off their portfolios.
yeah.
And it's like there's no checks and balances there. It is like there's a lack of fairness and accountability.
And
And
basically,
the,
what they'd like you to believe is that class of people they're just farmers putting money into a nice little nest egg for the future, but that's not reality. That's not
well, I
really
mean, if
what
you got a
it's
property
about.
portfolio of like 150,000, 150 rentals, for example, that's
Yeah,
not a nest egg. Yeah, that's basically, that's a nice way of making a few quid off.
and when
Thanks
most
very
of
much,
the
Sean, for the People Before Profit. We voted no to ratify the Lisbon Treaty in 2008. We asked a second time why. Yeah, the people forget we voted.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like, they did that, and it was Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael who wanted that, and
yeah,
I see. This is the thing about Ireland, was a country that wasn't impervious to bullshit, and it knew the fucking long con from like the G8 at the time, and there was a real sense of I think, like, because I remember it was like fair enough. It's like no to NATO, all this kind of anti-war,
yeah.
and that whole coalition has been split, and I think it
Well,
was split using identity politics.
Yeah, well, like, look, at the end of the day, if you can create an enemy, then you can take the focus off yourself. And this government has been brilliant at that.
Keep chatting there, Chris. I'm going for a quick piss. I will return shortly.
Yeah,
I'm
it'd
going to
be
put you on.
interesting to see what we had to use electric voting machines for the second vote. Yeah, I can't remember voting in myself. I remember the Lisbon Treaty. I remember the like it was such a strange operation at the time. Um, what's the crack with you guys? In the chat here, €5 SIM card. Get his money. Funny old crack, so you are. You're a funny old crack. Um, Ireland is Ireland and should always be that way. Yeah, Ireland is always going to be changing anyway. I think we always look at as a country, we're always looking at each other as lift each other up. We want to have that spirit, but hey Chris, remember they may count our votes, but our votes don't count. It didn't count in the fucking first Lisbon Treaty anyway. Those votes did not count. Not count at all, mate. Um, see what else is going on here. R.I.P. Shane McGowan. Jeez, poor Shane. Like Shane's the same age as me, old fella. Fucking. I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong, Steve. I'm always willing to be wrong. Yeah, Shane McGowan, he's some man. As Brendan Behan said, he was a drinker with a poetry problem. Graham Russell, how you doing, Graham lad? Yeah, it looks like I'm taking over the Maloney digest for a couple of minutes. He's gone shitting fat logs. No better man. It's all illusion that we have to saying anything. Yeah, I believe that anyway. I think that we have things can be made to make we can be given the idea of illusion very, very quickly. Men are willing to be wrong are hotter than the stubborn ones. Well, I'm always willing to be wrong, Missy. No harm in being wrong. It's how you learn. Could do with a bit of learning though. I'm in Toulouse at the moment, hanging out in a fucking gaff that is mine. It's a bit fucking weird that I'm on the live stream here, but look, we'll take it as we see. Chris, I've been digging dead hedgehogs. It seems that you're getting sound issues squared away. Working really hard on that, mate. It's such a pain in the arse. It's such a nightmare. But I really appreciate that you're enjoying it. Yeah, myself and Cowboy had a couple of juicy streams there last week. I hope some of you got to watch it. It was I think Steve really got a bit of a shock that we had some different opinions on some matters, and yeah, the chat was nothing to lose, 100%. Mayo. Yeah, the Dead Hedgehogs has been going. We've started this Pintless Challenge, basically, where we're going to be. It's called the Pintless Challenge. It's actually not about pints. It's more about working out and how we kind of try and build some healthy habits. Trying to lose some weight. Eating proper. Have a bit of competition with us. Yeah, Missy is 100%. She when it comes to the importance of democracy, there's only two choices, red or blue. But if you like ice cream, you have endless choices. Funny, huh? Yeah, well, very much so in America. And like you'd look at American politics, like it's this idea that it's one or the other is insane. Like, but again, you in America, you're seeing being able to pay your way to the top is that's seen as free speech.
I am gay for you, Chris Gavigan.
You sound like your son. That sounds bad in fairness, but he's a good boy.
You're a good lad, Gavigan. You're a good lad.
Yeah, we were just
Matty Strangeways, please, Matty Strangeways, enter thy chat. Chrishine's Digest.
that's it. I'm taking over.
Sledge Gavigan's a good dude, man. He's a good dude. He's
I said
like
some spicy. Said some spicy things to try and ruin your reputation.
good lad. He's got a nasty reputation as a cruel dude.
I want to take you down and take your followers, take your subscribers. You were going to be dead hedgehogs.
I speak spicy words. It's only words, and words are all I have. Take your clunge away.
Easy drums. Boy zones.
A zone of boys, very popular with the music industry. Vinny T, hop in here, man. Do 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 do. You take fucking Vinny. Chats are cool. Chats are school. Get them in your system. Oh, we got Matty fucking Strangeways. Matty, how are you doing, Papa Shango?
Attaboy.
What's going on, fellas?
Fucking late night in the heat of the city. It's foot of snow outside. We got Vinny T. Get in here, man. Get in the chat. Follow the link. Because Gavigan needs a place to stay when he's over here. And I said, fucking Vinny, man. Vinny will put you up, man. You know what I mean?
I've many
fucking
people
will, man. Vinny understand. Gavigan will pay his way. Don't worry, Vinny. He'll pay his way. And you'll be like this.
Maloney's giving my money away.
Take my money away. Oil on the road.
Oil on the road. I think that's a bad idea for everyone, to be honest.
Any chance of getting stateside back on? We could do. We could. Oh, Melody. How are you, Melody? Do. All right, there, Melody. Pew. How are you getting on, love? Matty Strangeways, what's good, bro? What's good?
Oh man, I've just been lurking for most of your stream tonight, so I've been watching.
Lurking, just fucking listen to the spicy debate. You know, like I said, there are good and bad in all society, and you know, with Ireland, there are those who feel upset, and there are those who contest, and then there are fucking opportunistic nutters that will do anything to watch the world burn. It's that simple. Oh, who we got on here? Oh, fucking hell.
Here he is.
Here he is. I just got to do this. Oh, the green and red of Vinny. I can see him still.
Attaboy, Vinny.
On the 22 bus down the road to Ballina. Open himself a can to Carlsberg on this cold Friday night. From Knockmore to Ashiemas, Father Peyton's here to stay.
Oh, fuck me. Oh, to fuck.
How are you doing there, Vinny lad? Have you met Matt Strangeways, the legend of... you'll be coming over here soon, Matt, will you?
Yeah, I'm trying to put it together. I'm waiting to hear back from Cowboy and a few other things, but yeah, we'll talk about it soon.
Can I...
Good man.
I might be coming over. I might be coming over for New Year's.
Oh, good lad.
We'll figure it. We'll figure that out over the next couple of weeks. But yeah,
good man.
We could conjure up some money.
Hey, Matt, what's the name of the Greenhaven song where you're in the pub with the boys?
Southbound.
Yeah, I gotta stick this up just to show what a legend of Matty Strangeways.
I found an older, better version of it per your request. I found it doesn't play great, but it's still better than the YouTube version up there.
Really? And can you send the link in the chat so it's got a higher res?
It's just a file, like an MP4 I have.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to load it up to YouTube yet, so it'd be for a better version. But it used to come on CD-ROM when you'd buy that vinyl. We also gave it. We wrapped it with a CD with the 2 songs as MP3s and a CD-ROM that you'd flash.
Nice, man. You really looked after them. It was the full package back in the day.
Well, and then we'd throw in some stickers and just courtesy of Bill Schumann. Like it was a nice little package for 2000.
Let me put this. I'm going to put this on so we can appreciate the work of Matty Strangeways in Greenhaven, because some solid work there, man. Some solid work. So I'm going to put this on so we can check out, and then we can continue the conversation with L'Oncle Vincenzo, the man o' the hour. So let me just let's also stick.
It's a pretty long song, so we don't have to watch the whole.
We'll put a touch on. We'll put a touch on.
Yeah.
Ashton Touchner, here we come. Press the play button. Once upon a time in Arizona.
Twice.
Right at the V. Beautiful touches. Jughead. This is Matty Strangeways in action.
I like it.
That's Dominic. Lady.
Oh, I do like that.
Lovely city.
Jesse Treacles.
Danny Ross.
That was doing damage.
All night long, and I'm gone, and you won't see me again. While I'm walking on a Saturday night, another rebel, yeah, woman through red and white. Got a ball for the two, got a for the balls.
Here's them.
2 for 1. All night long, have my fun. All night long, and I'm gone, and you won't see me again.
That's a really fucking rockin' tune.
Now here's what I want you all to do for me. Slip past the guns, climb down the wall. Prepare for the
Only guitar work there, man.
Yeah. Love it.
Now check me out on the flip side here. So I went to see my friend, you know I got himself a baddie living downtown. And a song about a man mixed emotions in a pan living uptown. So I rode across the land with a Bible in my hand and old downtown. Yeah.
Is that an Irish flag on the back?
Baby, don't you keep me on the air. 2 for 1. All night long. Have my fun. All night long. I'm gone and you won't see me again. Long and I'm gone and you won't see me again. Long and I'm so young and you won't see me again. No, you won't, baby. 'Cause I'm out the down.
That was awesome, man.
Thanks, man.
Actually, that was
Fucking amazing.
fucking deadly. It's a great
Brilliant.
rock.
Fucking
and roll.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fucking.
it was 20 years
it's
ago.
cool. 20 years, yeah.
Yeah,
It's cool to see the desert.
yeah. We drove past it, Martin.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Now, but we went when we went over from the zoo over the hill into Phoenix before we went to Long Longs, and we had that great view. It was
Mhm.
right down the hill. We drove.
Oh, is that near the army base? Is it?
Right down the block.
Man, what a city Arizona is, though. To be fair,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like,
It's 20 years ago. It's a fun little document of
Yeah.
you know, it's a little piece of the Arizona.
fucking hell, man.
puzzle.
The original the first Hardy book stuff from 2017. That's like 15,
First, 2017,
16 years ago now.
2007.
7? Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
Mad.
Goes quick, huh?
Yeah. Goes a little bit too quick.
Yeah.
Stop the world and let me off. I want to hit the pause button sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lads,
So
I'm
how's
gonna have
Vinny
to
doing?
jump off.
Are you gonna hit the road here, Christine?
Yeah, I'm going to be up early in the morning, so
Lonkle
so-
Hench, you have been a great addition and always interesting, serious chats. But there's also a lot of nice, chilled out shots to be had with you as well.
as always, lads. Look, it was great chatting to you.
Chris,
and-
before you go, Dead Hedgehogs, that's yourself, Stephen Pete, to be on that as well.
Yeah, so we're trying to do
There's
some
the
stuff.
channel. You are literally commenting from the channel there. Dead Hedgehogs.
I
Chris,
probably
You'll
will.
fucking hop on there with you one night.
Yeah, jump on any time, guys. You know,
You'll
come
talk
over.
about Professor Hamoto.
Are you back in the home country, Chris?
Well, I'm in Toulouse at the moment, but I'll be back on Monday. So I'm over for a couple of days, and then I'll be back in Swinford on Monday. So that'll be.
I was hoping, come on, I meant to give Maloney a shout, but then things got in the way. But the fucking state of things back there at the moment, you know. But sure, I'm sure we get to talk about it enough, you know.
Yeah,
You're back in Sweden, yeah, Vinny.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was in Dublin last week when it was all kicking off, and it was a weird, like, disassociative kind of weird experience because I was in Devitt's on Camden Street, fucking sinking pints and having mighty crack and telling jokes, and then you look around on the TV and fucking the bus, there's a bus being burnt out 5 minutes up the road, and you're like, this doesn't feel actually real, like, you know. But look,
it's fucking cat, man. I was coming home that day. I was coming back to Sweden that day, actually.
Yeah. Look, it's been one of those things that's been brewing a long time, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's a shit part of the city anyway. It's a fucking shithole. Like
It's never a great thing if you're Irish.
It's a fucking kip. And Joe, like, I wouldn't usually give the Shinners like I'm not really party political or anything, and like I just think they've got problems with every party. But Mary Lou McDonald gave a fucking brilliant speech about the lawlessness that's going on in the inner city, and you could walk from fucking one end of the city to the other. You could go from Smithfield down to Parnell Street and fucking all around that area and not see a guard for an hour. But if you walk 5 minutes down to Leinster Street,
the musician Lockie over here, the Clare lad, he was in Apache Pizza along the Keys. He was staying in a hotel up the road.
Yeah.
Fucking lad just clocked him and then pushed him into a bollard, and he's got a big gash on his forehead now.
Really?
Yeah, that was last year.
That could happen any night of the week. I said 2 or 3
Yeah,
times.
American lad.
I was on the phone once on O'Connell Street, and I was on the phone to a mate. I was told Martin the story before, and I just had to finish work. I was chatting to my boss or whatever. This little runt of a yoke was running past, and he tried to snatch the phone out of my hand. I kicked the legs from under him, gave him a few digs, and all my boss could hear on the other side of the line was like, "You bastard, give me your fucking phone!" I'm beating the shit out of this kid. I was like, that happens every 5 minutes in Dublin, and it happens mostly around that part of the city because the guards are so stretched. They and where are they called to? Where are they protected? Leinster House. You know?
To balance it out, the latest comment here. What's your opinion on this?
Can I just say something on this? The reason that a lot of the media and Mary Lou McDonald they won't even go near it is because it won't. You could, because of the system of judge and jury that we have in this country, you could perjure a case very easily by making public statements. So no one will touch it with a barred pole because at the end of the day, the worst thing you could do is not giving a fair case at trial. Yeah, your man did it. We all know what happened, but
what was the story? Was it like a fucking mental breakdown kind of case, or what was it like?
He had kids in the school apparently, and he had been given a barring order, told to stay away from the school, stay away from his kids, and he obviously cracked. And
where was the school? Was it like
it's on Parnell Street? So if you go, you know where the ambassador
same
was?
street as Fibbers and
you know in the corner there,
around the corner.
Yeah. Around the corner, if you're going up to up near
Memorial Gardens,
the cathedral is up there. You know where the ambassador is on the corner, up that street.
Right.
Like, look, it said there's so many stories you don't know what to believe, and
because I didn't even know what what was the flashpoint, Chris? What was the flashpoint? Like, what started the majority of the riots? Was because I'd read on Twitter that someone had said that the police.
Chris, do you mind if I take that for a moment and just give my 10 cents to that? Because it was the fucking knacker element, Maloney. It was the knacker element. And that shit is out of control in Dublin for the last few years. Yeah. And now it's just an extra excuse, you know? And whether it's immigration or whether it's this, that, or other. And look, I have my criticisms about the Irish government, well, so-called government, and their policies and things like that. But that was a knacker element. And it was just thuggery. It was literally just thuggery. Anyone who feels like fucking throwing a Molotov cocktail at something, and I can guarantee you, I've met a lot of these lads in Dublin, and they just want to do it. And there is no control on these kids, you know? I mean, if you look at Sweden now, and I've said this to a few people, if you look at Sweden now, you're kind of looking at Ireland in certain respects. 10 years down the line. I thought it was maybe 10, 20 years down the line, but it's more like 5 years down the line because integration policies are not there. You know, the immigration status of these people coming into the country is like, yeah, welcome, take all you want, but you can't work. And you have no reason to feel good in this country. And you know, you might have a fucking degree in this back in your country, but now you're just reduced to refugee status, you know. And then if you look down the line, and this is what we're living with here in Sweden, if you look down the line 10, 20 years later, these kids are growing up with this, we're not even second class citizens, third class citizens, you know. But that is not what I don't believe that that's what I witnessed in Dublin. What stopped me going through Dublin to get to the airport on Friday morning, it was the knacker element, the absolute. And this is a thing that has been going on in Ireland for a very, very long time, whereas a section of Irish society is not being accepted into Irish society. It's just take what you're given, fuck off. And this is generational, you know. Yeah. And so now you have these people reacting, and it's been bad in Dublin for a very long time.
There's big parts of the cities that there's more control from cartel elements than there is from actual, you know, regular society.
That was an interesting, because I was going to bring up the effect of heroin and drugs.
Can I just reply to Babs?
Years.
Can I just reply to Babs goes there and like, look, you can disagree with me all you want. That's no problem at all. Like, we all have our own opinions, like, and your comments. I'm just giving you my opinion from living in Dublin for over 10 years, and I know what a big problem in the city is. I don't know what happened to everyone else there. Am I the only one here?
Yeah, no, I highlighted you for this. I figured out.
What I'm saying is that with this, like, yeah, there's problems with immigration. There's problems with a lawless portion of the city, and there's a problem with the infrastructure about people being left behind, and all of that together. Every night of the week, if you like, I know a guard who works in the north in the city, who's from Swinford, and he said it's a running battle every night there. This one just got out of control. This is the one that's highlighted, but they're dealing with that on a nightly basis. And these lads do not give a fiddler's fuck. They don't care if they're put inside. They're doing that 5 nights a week anyway. They work. So you could say that it's a jihadi problem or whatever. That fella that attacked those children, there's a reason why they won't touch the media won't touch it with a barrage pole, because they don't want to give any opportunity for him to say that he's not going to get a fair trial if he survives.
But Chris, I mean, how do you feel about the fact that I would say that the Irish government, being the best boys, top of the class in Europe and all that, I'd say they're lapping this shit up, and they're loving it, because we see the laws that are coming in, exactly what they're talking about. That's coming in the next, as Varadkar, that guy, put it, in the next couple of weeks, and that is the end of free speech, if it's not already happened.
I think free speech is just a concept anyway. I don't think, like, at the end of the day, you can put anything out on Twitter, but Twitter is a privately owned company. It's not a forum for free speech.
But Chris, I mean,
social media, you can't say what you want on the streets. You could be arrested right now for the laws that are already enacted. So why is free speech?
This is true, but like, I mean, if I got a notebook here, man, and if I just write down some ideas for a poem or for a story, and it could just be a story, you know, talking about, if I was even to write a story talking about the ills in society at the moment,
I agree.
I a few things written in this, they could put me to jail. Given these new laws, they could put me in jail for a very, very long time, because I was going to write a story about it, because I was going to. And this is the important thing, you know, that it's fucking, what do you call that Tom Cruise movie? Minority Report. Yeah, talk, you know.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
It's very, very dangerous territory in Ireland at the moment, you know.
Yeah, I understand that part. I think that there is one part of I think there is one part that is like laws in Ireland, to try and enact laws like that are going to be challenged, and I think they're a lot further down the road, even if they're trying to do that. I don't think there's, like, let's put it this way, I don't think that them passing laws diminishing your ability to speak, and I'm totally against that. My idea is that the more conversation about these things, the better, if anything. So I think those laws are.
I think you're right there, Chris. Open, honest discussion, where basically, you know, there needs to be a serious discussion, and like when
it's easily whipped up that they're going to control what we're saying. They're trying to control what we're saying, but you know.
Well, you know, I'm just looking at nobody mentions the fact that it's become industrialized. You know, this is the thing. It's like no one's really mentioning that it is a big money maker, and not only that is it does also, if you want to look at it from a macro perspective, order out of chaos, and by creating chaos means it's a smokescreen for the people who are fucking running the show to melt off into the shadows. To quote, "It's so easy, Axl Rose. I make the fire, but I miss the firefight." You know, it's like the more people fucking, you know, and it's not only that, like the banking system have over leveraged the populations of the West. We're all so in debt. Then
Sweden's in recession.
Yeah, but the thing, I'm not surprised because the whole thing's based on fucking loans lately. But if you can't squeeze any more out of the local inhabitants, then you need to bring more people in order to get them also in debt. Do you know what I mean? And if you physically own, if you're like, let's say fucking the banks, you know, I can't distill them into one main banking entity, but let's just say the banking
JP
class.
Morgan.
Yeah, or JP Morgan or fucking Goldman Sachs or BlackRock or these companies, they need more people to be debt slaves. And if you try and buy a house, the bank owns you because it's a mortgage, a death grip. So if you can't get any more money out of us in Europe or the States, you need more people to have that leverage over. It's fucking control, but it's control through fiscal means as well. Matt, you're quiet on this one. Some.
I'm gonna jump off, guys. But like we'll pick this up again because I think there's a lot more to be said on it, and you know yourself. We'll go from there.
Yeah, I was enjoying just saying, just doing stuff like this. Kevin Spacey is a wrong gun.
Lads, we'll catch you later on, all right?
Chris, you're a lovely lad. God bless you. And safe journey home. Talk to you tomorrow.
On my auto fuck.
On my auto fuck twice.
On
the 22. Did you know, Matt, that Vinny used to sing in the band Swell Season?
I did not. I could see Vinny being a singer.
Neither
I've seen Vinny.
No, I mean, I wasn't in the band. They kept telling me to fuck off, but I kept finding
going up anyway, huh?
Vinny's a fine musician.
Swell Season, yeah.
No, it wasn't Swell Season. Wasn't that song from?
It was Mad Season, I think.
Mad Season, yeah.
I wish.
What was it? It was Temple of the Dog.
It was it Lane Staley and one of the boys from
River of Deceit
Garden, our Pearl Jam or something.
Yeah, because it wasn't Chris Cornell
and
I'm hungry. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Because I kind of miss them. I mean, really looking back, it should have been double the fucking crack because there's Chris Cornell and Eddie Vedder in it. It was only like the other day I was with my mate Haman and he put on some Temple of the Dog and I was like, fucking hell, man, Cornell and Vedder. And
that's class. But it was a homage to the dude from Mother Love Bone. What was his name? You know, the two bands got together and they just, you know, played some songs that were kind of written for him and it's a fucking amazing album, absolutely amazing album.
Is that the guy's name? Wood? His last name?
Oh, what was his name? Oh shit, no. Pop quiz hotshot.
Because
Andrew Wood.
Andrew Wood, yeah.
Andrew Wood. Man, Maloney, I trust you didn't Google that.
I fucking Wikipedia'd it, mate.
Andrew Wood, yeah.
Apparently
he was the rock star. Like, I mean, there's a couple of really, really good documentaries about it. It's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah,
Mother Love Bone. In fairness, there's songs, there's maybe one or two that were probably all right, you know.
By heroin.
But it was early days. Like, but he was definitely like the fucking Freddie Mercury out of all these kids from Seattle, you know.
Yeah, what was the fucking deal with heroin and the Seattle scene like? I mean, there's even the band called Mudvayne.
Well, I read a very, very interesting article, I think. I don't think it was a biography, but where Mark Lanigan was on about going back to this house. You know, some girls back in Washington State brought him back to a gig, if I remember correctly. Brought him back after a gig, and he was like, "These girls look a bit young, and maybe this is, I don't want to be with young girls." And
Was Epstein there, was he?
Well, funnily enough, and he said maybe this is a setup. And then he saw one of the photos on the mantelpiece. He hadn't met the person who owned the house. It turned out to be, what's his fucking name?
David Geffen.
No. Chili Peppers, Anthony Kiedis' dad. Oh. And he was in Anthony Kiedis' dad's gaff. And then he'd heard enough stories about him. Now, maybe it wasn't Washington State, whatever. Maybe I've got everything about this story. But apparently, in Anthony Kiedis' fucking autobiography, he admits that, where he writes that he was raped by Cher, statutory rape. But he was raped by Cher when he was like 13 years of age. She was babysitting him.
I read that book.
Yeah, you read that too. Yeah, and I can't
remember a lot of the details other than when I was done. I was like, ugh. It's like a lot of.
Well, exactly. Shit. Like, I'm sure
he was on Epstein's flight log, wasn't he?
13-year-old kid, massive pop star. I'm sure he wasn't complaining, but at the same time, that is fucking, as the laws perceive.
Yeah, looking back,
that's fucking rape.
What happened there, like?
Well, to finish that story, Mark Lanigan get the fuck out of the house and called a cab and left. But that was the first time.
How much Mark Lanigan was involved in the early Queens of Stone Age stuff. Or
man,
I thought he just sang in a few songs, but he was like part of the lineup.
Hey Martin, have you ever listened to Masters of Reality with Chris Goss?
Masters of Reality. It rings a bell.
So Chris Goss is a producer out in Joshua Tree and that whole region, and he's the one that produced all the Caius stuff, all the Queens of the Stone Age stuff, all the Desert Sessions. I think he did Screaming Trees. He's kind of the master of all that. But aside from producing, he has a band called Masters of Reality, and they're fucking amazing. The first two albums, he has one called Sunrise on the Suffer Bus, and on that album, Ginger Baker from Cream is the drummer.
No way.
Fuck up.
Yeah, I swear to God, and it's an ace album. It's very. You can't say how it sounds. Each song is different, and it's its own band and stuff. I highly recommend it. Sunrise on the Suffer Bus. All their stuff's good, but that album I really. Whew.
Sunrise on the Suffer Bus. It really conjures up heavy sessions that have bled into the day. You saw Queen's of Stone Age last week, Chris. Oh, fair play.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, me and Chris seen them in 2012, and we saw Soundgarden not long before that. But I was gutted that we didn't get into the mosh pit for Queens of Stone Age. Like, that would have been a good crack.
I'm okay because I saw Queens on touring Songs for the Deaf in the Ambassador, which is like one of the best venues you could see them touring that album. And then I saw Caius Lives. So,
did you?
I mean, I love John Garcia. But it was after they kicked John Garcia too. You which?
I love John Garcia too. We played with United in a fest day thing once.
Really? Oh, fucking sweet.
We might have played with him too. I had a band before Greenhaven, so going back to like mid '90s, and we played with every stoner rock band that came through town all through that era. So
was that with Wendigo, Matt? Was it?
Yeah, with Wendigo. So we played with Nebula, Fu Manchu, Clutch, Corrosion of Conformity, all those riff rock bands.
Corrosion of Conformity.
Yeah.
You know, like your music would really go down well over here. And there's like people who are really into the sound that you have.
Yeah. The Swedish scene is awesome, man. We have some fans over there. I got one or two guys that have said, the saying, if you set foot in Sweden, your first beer's on me kind of deal. So
yeah,
a few dudes out there that have repped us over the years.
Yeah, because it really is. It really is the kind of the music that should really be should really be listened to more here in Sweden. The Masters Reality got a shout out on Beware Mr. Baker. I watched that film with Chris that time.
Yeah, that's right. That's a great movie too. They do give a shout out on that. And he keeps hitting the filmmaker with his stick.
Yeah, but man, he imagine that lad, like he was just a mad bastard altogether. Like he was kicked out of Nigeria.
Right. What do you have to do? It's like, that was the old joke.
And then he stole his son's 18-year-old girlfriend and moved her to a house in Tuscany, to an abandoned house. He was just playing drums all day. And you could hear it through the valleys. It was just the sound of him fucking drumming off his head.
Lemmy said he did that in his book too. He stole his son's chick, and he's like, it's just a broad or whatever.
Easy for him to say as a seasoned rocker.
Yeah.
Was that the son was it Iggy Pop's son that he became mates with afterwards?
That he what?
I think it was Iggy Pop, maybe. He started hanging out with his son afterwards. He found out he had a son, and they were getting on brilliantly after a while. And he kind of comes on the road with them. Cheers, Shawneen Bay.
And that's and they're buddies now. That kind of deal.
I think so. Yeah, I think it was Iggy Pop's son.
Okay. Yeah, there's a few of those stories. I have a friend out here, a very, very close friend, and I won't. Not that you know him, so I guess it wouldn't matter, but. His stepmom has a child, an adult child, that she conceived when she went to Woodstock as a teenager and got with one of the famous lead performers. And my friend said there was a couple times when he was a teenager, he'd get calls from that guy looking for his daughter, but they were like, no, go away, for whatever reason.
Who was the father?
Alvin Lee from 10 Years After.
Wow. I'd love to change the world.
And I've got an Alvin Lee poster because I have some original vinyl, and when he comes over, I'm like, did I ever show you this, man? Just to piss him off.
Wow, Alvin Lee, he checked out a couple of years ago, didn't he?
Yeah. He's a fucking guitar master, man. If you've ever watched that footage from Woodstock, you can see why she was, party.
Yeah. Was Emerson, Lake and Palmer played there as well, didn't he, at Woodstock? Or was it Isle of Wight?
Guthrie was there.
Isle of Wight. I don't think ELP did Woodstock. Could be wrong, but I don't think they did. But I feel like they did do Isle of Wight.
Some mad lad on a Hammond organ.
Yeah.
And there was Santana at Woodstock, and his drummer was off his tits on mezcal. Or was it Santana? Or everyone was just off their tits?
If it's Santana, it's probably everyone.
I went out to do a bodyguarding gig for Rob Halford one time.
Yeah.
When he was debuting 2 at the Rainbow in LA.
Oh,
wow.
And then afterwards, he paid for a friend and I to go out. We went to dinner with the guy's name was Bob Marlette, I believe. And he's produced all these Santana albums. And he told me that, he said with a straight face that Carlos Santana was on acid every single day, every time he recorded on every album.
Wow. Including Smooth with Rob Thomas.
Yeah. Right. This was probably I don't know, like 94 or 5, so 5 probably, yeah. Right. So Carlos gets down. According to
fair play, man. It sounds like a man. Was it? I once heard it was maybe it was Santana, and it might have been Woodstock, but he was off his tits on acid. And as he was playing the guitar, he thought he was fighting a snake.
Yeah, that's the Woodstock because he's going. Alvin Lee is the only one that jams as close to that, because he's like, "I'm coming home." He does the head thing. He's just fucking riffing. That's a great movie. And then the part 2 of Woodstock, just riffing on that. Have you ever seen one? There's a lot of parts of that I love, but the extended footage when Sly Stone, when they do "I Want to Take You Higher," you mentioned it before, and there's a part in that where like. Riffied out. I was watching it one night, and it after all those performances, and he's just like he's playing the keyboard, whatever, and he just slowly turns around. He just revolves himself in this perfect slow time. And when he comes back, it's right for the next note that he has to come in. And it's just like somebody locked in so hard. Just love that shit, man, you know?
Yes.
So imagine what it must have been like back then. I mean, if you look at the live video of Lynyrd Skynyrd doing Freebird, I think it's either Florida or some, like, just a daytime stadium in this huge, it's huge arena. And could you imagine, like, listening to that for the first time? There was no phones or any of that bullshit. It was just everyone in the moment, in like the sunshine, and just fucking hopping around to.
Can I say something, Morch?
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people on this wee little thing you have here would have seen you the way I've seen you. When this man has a guitar and an audience, he's fucking unreal. And it's always the same thing, because people file in through the door at about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and Maloney's supposed to finish at fucking 12. Never does. Goes on till about 12:30 if he's not dragged off the stage before. And man,
that's when it gets good. It's when like, you know, oh, I've got to go now, and then I'm like, okay, I'll give you a choice. Do you want this one or that one? And I end up playing both of them anyway.
And you play them both. You always play them fucking both, and then a couple more. And I love every minute of it. You know, obviously when I'm working.
And you're a great man for bringing down the bottles of sunshine as well. Fair play to you.
Hey, man.
You always keep me hydrated.
Sunny southeast, huh?
Sunny. You're a good lad. Hey, we'll get this man over from Arizona. We've got to show him a good time. He showed me a good time over in Arizona.
This guy is a fucking legend of an entertainer. And as I'm sure you know, as I'm sure all the people watching this that will watch this already know, fucking legend of an entertainer. But to be in his presence and to have him just there bringing the buzz and bringing the crack is a brand new thing. So listen, you need someone for a birthday, bar mitzvah, fucking whatever the fuck you need.
Sure. I'm at Dr. David's wedding next week. Like, you know, the mad thing is, right, so Matt, I was over in Arizona with you. Dr. David's wedding next week. I'll be there providing tunes in London. You know, this you know, small, cozy little YouTube channel I've got, I've really gotten to know, you know, people in real life from it. And it's, you know, it really is, you know, I try to do one every week just because it's such a fucking great little community. And, you know, sometimes it gets a bit serious and the chat is, you know, it's like whatever's Maloney has digested. But I feel like, you know, we're all, Vinny, you should be Martin's manager, says Newfoundland Bear. But I just think it's the kind of thing where, you know, I think the type of chats we have here, it's for people who can kind of handle that kind of conversation in an adult way. And there's no beating the drums of war or whipping up controversy. It's just people having a fucking level-headed chat about things.
Well, I hope you don't mind me saying what I said, Martin, because you know, at the same time, I know that you're like just such a warm and inviting person, and I didn't think you'd mind me saying that. You're a brilliant performer,
part of the tapestry.
You're definitely the guy to hit up and say, "Hey, do you want to appear at my fucking brother's stag do?" You know, because you're just gonna enliven the room. So, but that's
like entertainment on tap. Just
man,
turn the handle out on the entertainment.
Bit of fucking Brucey bonus. I get up in the evening and I ain't got nothing to say. Brucey bonus.
Put your teeth back in.
Yeah, Bruce Forsyth. He had a wig and false teeth, and he was married to Miss Ecuador. Fair play to
him. Man, yeah. Not right.
Good to have a good vibe. Can't pay at the Hardy Books. And that Pollock. to be done. Martin's hair is going the opposite direction of Vinny's hair. Cute. So
It's because we're both.
things.
Mine's going straight up. That's why I'm wearing a hat. I fell asleep after the tub. So
What's the weather like over there? It's a question I ask every time you come on. What the weather's like over there in Arizona? What's you benching?
Yeah,
are you wearing a hoodie tonight? Must be getting a bit chilly.
Yeah, we got some rain.
That's such a fucking Mayo thing, man. What's you benching?
You got rain over there, did you?
Yeah, we got rain. It's been cool. It's been low 70s at the top, but down in the 50s at night. And I can't bench anymore. I can very light. My
Celsius at the moment. That's nice. That's a nice little. Yeah, that's not too bad.
Do you reckon, boys? Do you reckon if we posted a bit of snow to Arizona, quick post, and we put it like in a freeze pack? Do you reckon it might still be frozen by the time it gets to Arizona?
There's only one way to find out.
There's only one way to find out. That's the answer I wanted to hear. Maloney, let's post some snow to fucking Arizona tomorrow.
Probably $60 these days.
Cardinal Flanagan, thank you very much for the super chat. Cheers for having such a great place, for having the crack. Well put. It's a nice, comfortable place, a scene you can't get often. I like to think of it as being a little refuge for waifs and strays like ourselves, where we can come and chat, and it's well, boys. Kevin's back, man. He's back. He's Portland, hey, and even Kevin from home, and Ash is here as well. But it's a nice thing, it's a nice little community, and that's why when I was on my final strike for spicy chat, I was like, okay, I don't want to blow this with the channel because I've got a nice little crew. As Danny Dio said, lovely little crew, and and look, everyone's welcome on for a chat as well. You know what I mean? The link is there, and if everyone wants to fucking jump in, the chair is there. But at the end of the day, look, some of the things I come out with, some people may, or some of the subjects that we cover here may be misconstrued as being controversial. Oh, you can't talk about these, or I'm basically looking around and shit's not right for multiple reasons, for multiple different subjects. And I'm not saying that this channel or things that we talk about is going to put anything right, or if we have a platform that makes a difference. But it is a nice place to come and have these chats to get things off your chest and just sound off other people, and it's and not only that, just a place to have some irreverent stuff like this. Cute gay guys. That kind of shit. You know what I mean? Vinny wrote that song, Secret Garden.
Twice.
Martin, I think you made an important point when you said a little while ago, you said there's not that many places where you can have civilized conversation about such matters. And there's more and more places to talk, but there's less and less places where people talk civilly. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, look, the thing is, like, you'll rarely see me getting into fucking scraps in real life. You know what I mean? And I'm a man who brings people together, not pushes them apart. And and I'm always willing to hear every side, because everybody, like, do you know, I remember watching Come Dine With Me, this like series in the UK where basically you've got, like, it runs over the course of a 5-episode thing, and they have they can see where they'll edit things to look a certain way. Like, someone starts off as the fucking nutter, and at the end of it, they're actually the sound one. But you kind of, some of these people who, they invite you into their homes to, like, scrutinize where they live and how they live and what they cook and what they discuss. And you kind of think some people are fucking strange, but then or some people are very meticulous about how they present themselves. Some people are control freaks. There's a whole strata of different personalities out there, but you kind of look at people and you think, like, everybody has come, like, even grown adults in their 60s, and it's like they have come to who they are because of different events that have shaped who they are. So you might look at someone and go, oh, this person's an absolute Karen, or this person's a fucking nutter. But, like, all of these people have endured hardships, love, loss, rejection, triumph, you know, and some people have got better breaks in life than others, you know, and it's kind of like the older I get, the more I realize things aren't as black and white as people paint them out to be. It's like it's one undulating mass of gray and different tones. And, you know, one thing about when you have kids, it makes you look at the world in a different way because you see like fucking, let's say just Dick Cheney. He was up Hillary Clinton. You see that
Why
picture
did
of Hillary
you bring
Clinton?
up Dick Cheney when you mentioned your kids?
No, I'm just,
Just
what I'm saying is this.
rude.
He was once a kid
I know what you
himself,
mean.
right? And he would have, you know, been a regular kid, and influences brought him, you know,
growing up in
some
that
people
little mansion, you know, that
yeah,
hard
but then
scrabble.
yeah, exactly. So he lived in let's say he lived in a mansion where the people who had this mansion got that mansion through being underhanded and, you know, ruthless, let's say, and they teach the kid as he gets older how to rationalize this kind of fucking behavior, which is unscrupulous and not
there was
right.
somebody before him. He's in a larger chain of a larger system of corruption, or at least of whatever term you want to give it. It's a larger system that he
Yeah,
just
and he would have grown up with someone around him who he looked up to because that person would have had respect in the family or outside of the house. So then he kind of
responsibilities.
I was already going to fucking pay you like just a massive compliment, you know, for just being so you, basically, just so down to earth and so considerate and so everything. And then you went and fucking tried to humanize Dick Cheney. It was like, this is the person we're dealing with. Like, you know, you are that fucking nice. You are that
Kissinger
sweet.
checked out yesterday at 100. Even
Can I
Kissinger was once a child and could have been a very nice child.
Growing up
you know,
in a little fire pit. But hey, Martin, this is the true thing I'm about to tell you. I'm not a pub talker here. Next time you're in Arizona, we can make a phone call and we can go visit my friend Nick from Ghana, who used to work for Dick Cheney when he was from Ghana. He went to American University in Greece. His first job out of university was flying around with Dick Cheney and then Rumsfeld. So he knows the whole. Yeah, he used to just tag along and help him out with things, and you know, and he's got stories of the bombing of Beirut in '83. He was there, and they were sending him out to get souvenir shells, and he was answering the phone, the American embassy, all this. But Nick, he's retired from my work, but he's still in town, and we're still friendly. So I haven't talked to him a bit. So that's an honest thing. That would be a fun conversation for me to see you two.
That would be a fucking fun conversation.
Yeah. And Nick has a story that when I first started at my work, it took about a week to tell me, partially because he speaks slow with a lot of just his storytelling style, but it's that in depth. Like he was sold out as a spy when he wasn't really one. And so he ended up in this whole thing where they had this, you know, I don't even want to say it all on like this. It's incredible. Part of it takes place in Ireland too. So,
wow.
But anyway.
Yeah, it's like that's something that like kind of recently discovered it though about like even the worst people. There were you know, it's like if you watch fucking Star Wars and Anakin Skywalker started off as this little geek going pod racers, and then he, you know, killed all of the fucking Jedi kids. You know what I mean?
It's like Viper, you know,
Viper, yeah,
Viper,
outside the fucking
all those
disco.
guys were friends, you know.
Yeah.
But then until the whole thing with the booze and the dance and Viper's cousin. And,
yeah, I mean, because there are moral decisions. I mean, I remember when I was 14, getting the shit kicked out of me in a nightclub, and I was kind of like I was hanging out with the hard boys, and I got a fucking hammering, and the lad I was with, he got more of a hammering than me. But he went back into the club, and I was like, nah, this is what I'm about. Because it was such a rough display of visceral violence that like wasn't warranted, and our two lives took a major like departure from one another, and he just ended up embracing the hard man culture and getting into serious trouble. Whereas I just kind of like retired into like not going out for a bit and playing football and hanging out with sound nerds and playing PlayStation and football.
I bet you felt different about it back then than you do now.
Sorry?
About that decision. I said, I bet you feel different about that.
Absolutely. But the thing is, like, I was always like, I never really saw the point of fucking starting on people or fighting for the sake of fighting. But like, if a fight had happened, I'd defend myself. But I never went out looking for it. I didn't see the point of it. You know, I was like,
you're a lover, man. You're a lover.
I'm a lover, not a biter.
You can be both.
Martin, was that nightclub incident in Merseyside?
No,
or
it was in Ireland, man. Do you know, I have to, what's a good mate, the stateside doppelganger. He really was. He lost the hair now. How's his hair holding up? Well, I think it looks worse because he dyes it and then it kind of grows out blondie. So he dyes it black and then kind of, it's kind of receding, but then.
He's a very handsome man.
His face was actually carved by angels. But very tall. But the amount of visceral fucking street fighting nut shit that I like, and this is coming from a suburb of across from Liverpool. It wasn't like, there was some hard lads around, but shit that was going on in Swinford growing up, man. I was just like, this place is fucking like Swinford hardened me up, and it's funny if you can take even the most
Well, Liverpool had to be harder than fucking Mayo, though, no?
Well, I mean, but it's in a different way, you know what I mean? Because it's like small town, like situations. Like my first week in school in Ireland, I saw two like leaving cert lads beating the fucking shit out of one another outside the gates of school, and I was just like, "Holy shit, man, this is insane!" And it was every few days you'd see like some serious scrap happening. And
it was the norm.
It was the norm, like and.
That's just what you fucking
wouldn't get half as many fights in school where I was. There'd be a lot of talk about it, or lads from other schools who were like the hardest in the school. But what I saw like regularly in Swinford growing up in the 90s was spellbindingly violent. You know what I mean?
But we had like fucking running battles. Like there was certain characters that from year one, as soon as we went to secondary school. And these boys just were fucking at odds with each other. And every now and then it was like, A and B are fucking scrapping. And everyone just piled in, But there was like back gates 3:45. Sometimes it was that. Sometimes it just fucking kicked off on the lunch break at the 11 o'clock break. But there was always those kind of epic fucking battles between these lads. I imagine from what you're saying, it was pretty similar up in Swinford.
Yeah, I mean, because I knew lads who just lived to fight. I mean, like,
yeah,
and continue to do so throughout life. And then you see them nowadays, lads my age, and they look fucking wrecked, like street scrappers who, noses like this, or the
kings of the fucking town back in the day, yeah. But
yeah, and just the further they got out of the town, but with that kind of big fish in a small pond mentality.
Ooh.
Welcoming like confrontation, and they met bigger fish from bigger towns, and
hang on a minute,
never really left. Never thought, okay, maybe this isn't really the kind of lifestyle that I want. There's just like win some to lose some. Coddle faddle, it is. I like Graham Russell there, Lord. Graham Russell. He is a lord, lord, up in Chicago. But I'm fucking wrecked, lads. I'm gonna have to go to my bed actually and feed those cats. They're outside. I can hear them scratching at the door. But thank you everyone in the chat. First of all, and it did there was a bit of spicy debate. There was some musical chat. There was some introspective chat of the old days. It's just general chat about the cool, chill vibes of Arizona, the wilds of Mayo, and Dick Cheney as a child. Actually, let's see what he looked like as a child.
That's an animated series.
Oh my god!
Tales
Dick
of young
Cheney.
Dick Cheney. Just him as like an.
All right, you got If you're gonna show us Dick, you gotta show us Condi. You gotta show us Condi as well. After Dick.
I can't actually see any. I think he was born as a 25-year-old man. Like he just, but like you could see he was a bad bastard.
He was sculpted.
But you could see, I could imagine he was a bad fucker in school, just like, had got other lads to do the fucking heavy lifting for him.
He's just no. What's happened with him, right? He's just an old spirit that's inhabited somebody else's body.
Like, look at his face here. Like, he looks like someone who's just like no crack. You know what I mean?
I'm just.
It's a very CIA-looking fucking badge.
Oh, look at that haircut, man. Look at that.
Yeah.
Also, he looks like someone who is
the one in the middle.
The better to go conspicuous with.
He had a dog. He had good time for the Basset Hound there. Like, you know what I mean? So
as soon as the photo was over, he's like, "I get this dirty mutt away from me."
That fucking dog. Let's see. Young Dick Cheney. Let's say like
young Dick Cheney is like a young fucking Dick Cheney and dogs with like Joe Biden and fucking kids.
Apparently,
man, I was home, and he's still fucking plastered all over the wall, all over the fucking town. Joe Biden.
Yeah. I like the way Christian Bale put a load of weight on. Like Christian Bale is 50% of his acting is his ability to put on and lose weight.
Yeah, but no one does it better than Ryan Gosling, man. Just fucking standing in doorways, staring into the middle distance.
There was a more friendly look at Dick Cheney there. Look, he was more of a. That was before he was a bit of a cheeky lad. But then
that's Photoshop, man. Dick Cheney never smiled.
What you don't see is that they're torturing a beagle on the other side. Kick him again.
See what young Henry Kissinger looked like.
They didn't have.
I mean, what? Look, a fucking geek, man. Do you know what I mean?
Look at the optimism in his eyes.
Like, look at him here. Look, like here's the mad thing, right? Look at him. He looked like a cheeky, nice lad. Do you know what I mean? He was a bit of crack. Probably about, I'd say about 10 or 11 there because he's lost the canines, maybe 12. But this lad here, yeah, in this picture, went on to cause the death of like millions of people.
Minute. Maloney, look at that fucking photo, man. He's holding a death ray right behind his back. That's why he's hiding one hand. He's just like, I'm gonna kill you.
He's got a knife and a headless squirrel.
But like, he was a mad bastard. It's funny to see pictures like that. Look at young Hillary Clinton as well.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man! I was just gonna say. I mean, do you want to end the fucking your podcast or your live stream on a high note, or do you want to send us to bed with all the worst nightmares about the worst people in the world?
To be fair, she was a good-looking bird in her younger years, like.
Well, I mean, do you think Bill was just there for the fucking, the name?
This was when this is like, look at the fucking shape of them there, man. Just like. They definitely enjoyed weed. Like Bill Clinton there is like, yeah, man.
They're stoned right there.
Yeah, you can tell there was they did but he was like, I tried it, but I didn't inhale it. Like, you really believe that? Like wealthy fucking, like they started. I bet they were real ideologues back in the day before they started getting a touch of the hard wedge. You know what
Look
I mean?
at his face. He's just sort of like, take your fucking photo because I'm going home to get a blowjob. That's Bill Clinton.
Back in the day, like, like you could, as soon as she got into law and the wedge was coming in, I'll never trust a polygraph test again. I'm laughing it off, man. You know what I mean? Love the old wrap. It's never an immediate wrap up, is it? It's always like a soft. It's like me doing the gigs, and it's like, I'll play one more song, man.
I'll tell you what,
she was misunderstood.
I bet she doesn't have sex anymore. I mean, out of 3 people here, how many people think Hillary Clinton has been laid in the last fucking 3 years? Like,
by man?
Of age.
Right.
But no, I mean, people get their kicks, and you know,
Was
I
he in
do have
Oxford?
mine.
Was he? Was Bill Clinton in Oxford for having busy hands?
He was in one of them. He was at Oxford or Cambridge, yeah, I think.
Yeah, he was
They
a
called
road.
him
But you
busy
know, he's
hands
like
Bill.
fucking related to the Queen, and you know, every other fucking president of the US has been related to the Queen, apart from Van Buren and maybe Trump. They've all got ties back to John II of England. Well, hang on. Apparently, according to some kid.
So does fucking Danny Dyer.
The internet.
Yeah, but he deserves it.
Danny
No,
Dyer.
apparently
Great
some
guy.
kid. Apparently some
I
kid
seen
did
the one you're on about, this 12-year-old girl who did like the genealogy on everyone.
Yeah, and she decided to find if there was a connection between any of the US presidents, and all of them, apart from Martin Van Buren, up until Obama, or
Martin
before
Van
Obama.
Buren sounds like he should have been in a 90s American boy band.
He was in a couple of Sherlock Holmes stories.
Step by step, ooh baby, I wanna get you into my life. A road scholar, a road man, or should I
Oh,
say,
okay.
a woad
Watch out for
man.
them. Yeah.
Well, look, I'm definitely gonna have to fucking hit the road, ladies and gentlemen, and Vinny and Matt. Lovely chats. Thanks very much for joining us here, guys. It was
Thanks for having me,
absolute
man.
pleasure. We have it's 2 hours and 35 minutes. Anybody who's listening in the chats later on, and you've gone this far, fair play to you. But it would be the kind of thing that I would do with other streams that are such.
Tip this man.
Oh,
this
tip.
man.
Well, you know, you can also throw a tip in as a thank you, and whether that be on. Thank you very much for mentioning that. The tip, if you feel like throwing a few quid into the mix, PayPal/Maloney's Digest for the Ashton Touchner, or I think you can, which would probably be the most optimal, really. And if you just if you would want to drop in a touch on the thanks, I think there's like a thanks post, because apparently, if you're watching my previous streams with, commercials on it, it's not because I've monetized them. It's because I've used music, and they are getting analytics and monetization off anything that you're watching. So, like, I understand how annoying it is to have YouTube commercials on. That's why I actually pay for the YouTube Premium, so I don't have to fucking listen to that garbage. But that is to wrap it up. Matt and Vinny, lovely lads. And you will meet Uncle Vincenzo in the bottom of the screen when you come over. And he is a good fucking lad, man. And Vinny, if you're not doing anything tomorrow, man, fucking give us a shout and call over, lad.
We'll speak soon.
Sound as a bell. All right, ladies and gentlemen. LG, you just came in at the final furlong, but worry not. It's been a spicy chat. And there's plenty in it for you. So have a little, go into your bed, get nice and cozy, and have an old lie down. But I'm going to probably go off to bed and listen to the rest of the recent Gerald Celente video. What can I say about, I've got to show you Gerald Celente's recent trends journal. I've got to show you this before I go, because this shows like the hilarity of how willing to offend the people who need to be offended that he is. Also, I recommend you watch the Andrew Callahan San Francisco special he did recently, because it's fucking, that guy is remarkable. Like, he's a 25-year-old dude who's making top-notch quality. But San Francisco covers an awful lot about what's been going on over there. So let me just share this with you for a second before I eventually hit the road. It was for LG's sake that I stayed at this extra touch. You have to see the front cover, the front cover of his recent. 1 second. Hold on. Let's just take the time. Let's just take the time to appreciate this guy. I mean, I can't remember who it was who told me about Celente in the chat, but I'm so happy that they put me onto him.
Journal. What a stupid fucking cover.
He's got eyes like me,
from
Mum.
St. Nicholas, White House's version. First Lady Jill Biden showed off the White House Christmas decorations. What the fuck? Like, and now Kissinger died. Oh, that fucking murdering prick. Oh no, they loved him. You go to some of the sites, he was so good. What a fucking track record of death that scumbag had. Anyway,
I love it. You know
so
when
onto
he's
the
going to get
markets.
pissed off when the
You know,
glasses
the
come off.
numbers
There we go. Watch.
came in better than I would have thought they came in. The personal consumption expenditures index.
Let me get to the cover of the new Trends
down.
journal he's got.
Rose only 2 point.
I introduced a friend of mine to him a couple of days ago.
5% for the year ending in October.
Oh, let's see. Is he kicking off here? Is he kicking
Our
off?
trends. You said that the 20th century was the American century.
Here we go. The glasses are coming off.
But the 21st century would be the Chinese century because the business of America has been war and the business of China is business. But when they launched the COVID war on Chinese Lunar New Year, 2020, the year of the rat, and 3 years of zero COVID policy, they destroyed the lives and livelihoods of hundreds of millions of people throughout China. So this thing isn't coming back. So they did it to themselves. Yep. Again, all your data is in your magazine.
Oh, maybe it was
and again,
Tuesday's
then you have
one.
this war going on.
Yeah,
it
was Tuesday's one, and he gets right into it on. He gets right into it there on Tuesday, man. And I watch all three of his videos each week, and I don't miss them. And you should also watch The Other Side of Salente. It's just him knocking around in his gaff. He lives well. Fair play to him.
Where does he live? New Jersey or something?
Yeah, up in New York.
Yeah.
Let me try and find the recent one because I think he's got two channels. He's got Gerald Salente and Trends actually. So I think it's Trends Journal is the other one. So because he has like two, he's doing well. He's got the Trends Journal.
Have you got in touch with him actually?
Yeah, I did, but I need to get back. I need to actually get on. I was on Chris Thrall's stream earlier this evening, and Chris had him on his channel.
Oh, nice.
So I'm gonna I'd love to have him on, man. It'd be fucking brilliant. These all seem to be his with Judge Napataliano, which is he's fucking another guy I enjoy watching. But the Trends Journal, it seems that maybe 1 second now, Lords. 1 second.
This is very, very typical Maloney. It's like, it's better go to bed.
You know me, man.
But hang on.
You know me.
Better finish fucking playing the gig. But hang on.
Is it this one?
I'm enjoying myself. Oh, Maloney.
I think it was this week he did it. But man, I just want to show you the cover of the magazine because it's so fucking funny. Where is it, man? It's so good. Here it is. Political dickheads in charge. We can't say the other word. Wait. When you see this, it's just worth showing from this bit. He's just straight out the gate. He's on it, man. Here we go. And I can't say the other word.
Coming out shortly.
Here we go. Look.
And here's the cover. Political dickheads in charge.
In charge.
We can't say the other word.
It's a freak show.
It's a freak show.
A bunch of fucking freaks running the show. Little fucking arrogant dickheads that shitheads take their dick. I got to be careful. I got Google. They just took shitiots. There we go. That's who they are.
That's who they are.
It's a noun. A full of shit idiot. Politicians, bureaucrats, mainstream media, celebrities, etc.
Shitiots.
Shitiots.
Lindsay Gray.
Is one of the Political dickheads. How could anybody with a pair of balls or anybody that's a man or a woman swallow the fucking shit coming out of the mouths when they take their masks off?
Masks
of
off.
these fuck faces. I can't say why they took our video off last week. They called it hate speech because I said something about the numbers of dead in one by Russia didn't add up anyway. Can't go into it because we'll be blacklisted again. Censorship is the American way. Censorship from the fucking dickheads, and I can't say the other word, that slaughter millions of people.
Look at the emojis in the
globe
fucking
that
live
costs
chat.
us tens, hundreds probably of trillions of dollars in the name of freedom and democracy, as they rob it from us.
What's
Look at the little clown you got there now running the House Speaker. House speaks a shit. Mike Johnson. Oh, I'm an evangelical Christian. Oh, I hate abortion, but let's keep sending more money to slaughter those Palestinians. Oh, the big news on CNN about Hamas releasing this young girl.
So
is the big story.
I recommend
Story.
you know if you want to hear some no holds barred, a man in his 70s giving socks to the establishment. You can't ask for better. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's, you know, if I'm like doing a bit of driving, I'll stick it on. I'll just listen to it and I'll be laughing at the wheel.
All out of fucks, so we can't give you any.
I introduced Alex and Rob to Gerald,
Salente.
is it?
Yeah.
Is it Gerald?
Gerald Salente.
Yeah, last weekend. So, but yeah, thank you for another touch.
Yeah, man, has to be done. Well, look, this definitely is me signing off from the Nostromo. All right, listen. Ronan Morgan was taken home with Crawley. Anyway, I'm gonna have to love you and leave you, and thank you everyone. And it's been a long night of stream, but you know what? It's fucking good crack. All right, good night, God bless you all. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good night, God bless.
Thank you, lads.
Good luck. Cheltenham races job.